Hello,
Woolie, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? What's happening? Why are you at a slightly different angle?
because I'm at a slightly different angle.
It's like up now.
Up and away to a
Is it
different
away?
location.
Oh, okay. Wait, different location.
Yeah, I moved.
Ah, good for you.
Hi,
You're not in a different country, are you?
I'm in parts unknown. I bought a
Okay.
house.
Congrats. Hey, let me text Paige. I'm gonna tell her. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's fucking fantastic. Good for you. I
Thank
was
you.
wondering why your diabetes scientist shit had to take up a whole week last week.
Well, it's
I was
still.
wondering what kind of tubes they were shoving in your ass that were going to take a whole week.
I mean, it's still. They still did shove tubes, and there still was a whole lot of scientists diabetesing simultaneously. But in addition to that, yeah, uh, I,
It is a crying goddamn shame that this did not align with the 1st of April.
it could have.
That
It
would have
very well
that would
could
have
have been.
had so much bonus confusion.
Yes, that is true. But it feels as if it was not meant to be. And besides, it seems as if Sega already crushed it on April 1st.
Oh, yeah,
So,
we'll be talking about that
yeah.
in the relatively shortly.
Yeah.
How was the move? I hope not nearly as arduous as mine.
No, it was excellent. Thanks to the good old folks at Bust a Move.
I knew you were gonna say it as soon as you open your dude. I wish. I was so mad that I couldn't use Bust a Move to move out to British Columbia.
Yeah. No, they're not only they're the best, and not only are they still the best since we first started talking about them and word of mouthing, but they're so good now that the realtor that helped me buy the house was like, oh, by the way, if you're gonna move, I know a great company. They're called
And
Bust
you're
a
like, oh
Move.
yeah, oh
Yeah.
do you?
Yeah, and he's like, bust a move, and I'm like, motherfucker, the word has spread. They're out there. So no, they're still the best at what they do.
They're
And
the best.
yeah, and they're way bigger now, and there's more folks. And but they did an impeccable job nonetheless, and nothing's worse for wear. Everything was done smoothly, and as you can see, it's
It's
intact.
where it needs to be.
And that thing ain't busted behind me. It's working.
Hey, I can
So
see that it's working.
you can see that
That's
it's
a
working.
miracle.
Yeah, they
How
did
could
not.
how could you move an arcade cabinet and it
He.
still be working?
It's kind of like if you don't drop it on the stairs, then it might still work when it gets
It
to its
might.
location. It's kind of crazy, right? How that works. But yeah. So they did it, and overall pretty pain free. Um, and yeah, it was one of those bits where you know, you always swear to yourself, you're like, okay, this time around, I have become uh so like I don't own. You're kind of like I've gotten rid of most of my stuff. Slash, I can get rid of most of my stuff. I'm gonna throw away
Yeah.
like half of what I own, and then I'm staring longingly at my Samurai Champloo wall scroll, going, "When are you gonna put this up? You're not gonna put this up." But I can't. I can't let go. It hurts. It hurts. I thought I
Yeah,
keep thinking I'm not materialistic to these things, and then I get rid of things, but then there's still shit that I'm like, oh.
like I'm not materialistic, and I had the opposite problem where I was like, well, don't need any of this, and the wife was like, you can't throw that away, that thing's cool, and I'm like, but then I don't have to pack it.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And I still maintain that each time I've moved, I've thrown away at minimum 40%. I've gotten rid of, donated, handed off, given away at least that many, you know? But there's always just like the things that I'm like, man, how many boxes, how many times am I going to move this box full of Beast Wars Transformers toys with my fucking Dino Megatron? And I'm like,
Woolie,
as many as it takes, because I can't get rid of it. It's coming with me forever.
There's a bright yellow cardboard box sitting in my closet right now that has a bunch of books I read as a kid, and that box has never been unpacked, and it has followed me through 4 moves from my parents' house. And every time it's like time to toss it, I'm like, I don't want to toss all these goosebumps.
Can't do it,
man.
Can't do it. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I kind of also said, there's a bunch of things where I said, okay, you're on probation. Like, you're coming with, and then when I look at you in the box in storage, if I don't feel it, then you're gone. But I'm going to take you with for now and decide at the other end, which is really just, you know, it's an option select. You're buying yourself time. You really got to just like...
And then you're just going to do nothing with it once it gets there. And you're going to be like, why did I pay the whatever it was to ship this box that will never be opened?
Yeah. No, it's rough, man. I mean, look, I'm looking. I only brought 3 Dreamcasts.
Only 3 Oh my goodness gracious!
Only three. Right. The others have since gone into states of disrepair, and they're no longer useful. So now I just have the normal working one. The one that I fixed that still is decent to get to somebody, and then one that uses a SD card, which is modified, you know, a special Hello Kitty version. So, you know, yeah. At the same time, like, there were no fewer than 12 sticks.
Yeah.
And I definitely had the guts and pieces, because I had literally a workshop for building sticks, you know?
Right.
That has had to go, obviously. I kept the tools. Still have a drill press that's fucking awesome. But packing 12 sticks sucks, because the stick sticks up and they don't stack on each other. And the whole thing's, it's awful, right? So I'm like, okay, like, what's going to make the cut? What's coming with? And like, most of them had to go. But the stuff that I couldn't get rid of is like, I'm like, well, the stuff that I made personally, where I'm like, well, this is my handmade thing. Like, like, my favorite of my customs is still with me. And then like, there was a KI stick and I think a TE2 that were being used behind my couch as like levelers at a point for the last couch I had. And, you know, those are still around, because, I mean, I might grab the parts out of them or something. But anyway, I think I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sticks. And then there's a hitbox and a mix box. So that's it.
I ended up going through a bunch of sticks. I had like 6 sticks total when I moved, and it was like all sticks that had still come with since like the old office, like the ones that I had left there. And so I'm like, okay, I have like 4 that I don't need. Let's plug them in. Okay, well, that's an Xbox 360 stick. Don't fucking need that one again.
Right.
That one's broken. That one has a busted button. This one's good. I'll give that one away.
Yeah. I found what I kept was a garbage bag full of PlayStation 1 controllers that were like great for stick conversions and things like that. Anyways, a lot of that just out the window it goes. The thing that's real rough too is like what I did at the last place was I had a lot of my, like, I used to have a wall of posters behind me back at the old
I remember
apartment
that.
we recorded at. And what I kind of switched that over to was just like pick your favorites, frame them, and there will be fewer, but they'll be classy, and you know, it'll be a little more of a shared space with obviously my wife, and we can enjoy a nicer presentation of a fewer things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that, and I kind of like, I got rid of a lot of the old stuff, the old posters and shit that ripped and wasn't in good quality. But there's still just like, there's stuff that's like, there's like a good number of awesome prints that I got from like cons and, you know, like custom things and stuff like that, where I'm like, man, this is not the right size to put anywhere, and it doesn't fit into the full framed movie poster sized thing. So there's just nowhere for it to go, but you can't get rid of it. You can't. It's you know, it's a super nice like custom print thing. So I'm like, I guess I'm just gonna have like almost like a stack or like a binder for looking at these things, but that's the best I can really do, you know? Like there's some kinds of like smaller figures and smaller things where I'm like, the space for this just doesn't, there's nowhere for me to put it. I'm only dealing in a few things that I really like.
Yeah.
And the small things are just going to have to go away, you know? So quality over quantity. Like once again.
So are you like, so back at the old place, you had like a special little podcast nook, I guess you would call it, and then you have the place where you and Reggie would hang out and do couch stuff. Are you in that spot right now?
Well, actually, I am in that spot, and I'm taking the opportunity to refine the setup, of course. So I'm in a space where both things are going to be able. This podcast happens here, and the couch
and then it just move over a little bit
over there. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the beauty of, you know, redesigning the setup and taking everything into account from scratch is that, well, for one, the distance of the new couch, and the distance from that to the TV is much better. Comfy setup.
Yeah, because you had the eyesight shit because you were actually far.
It was further than it was then recommended for the height of the couch, and now it's actually closer than recommended based on the space we have.
Yeah, good.
Regardless, that'll be fine. And then obviously that type of couch is not great for like sitting back-wise, you know, like for a long time. These office chairs, shout outs to the Herman Millers, they're great for doing this, but couch-wise, what can you do? So I was looking.
You need to be able to hold hands and touch feet.
There you go. So I actually got I replaced the old couch, which was just like the kind that kind of cuts off below your shoulder type of thing, and I got what is essentially a theater seat couch, right? That we're going to be able to sit in and use for like longer, more comfortable, you know, LPing. And what I want to do, which is not fully set up yet, is have it so that the table over here where I'm podcasting from, cameras looking over at the background over here, just off camera is the LP. And if I need to, well, I brought the cube, right? The cube is still here.
Yeah.
But if I need to, it would be fantastic. What I'm going to do is wire it so that there's two. The HDMI that goes to the TV will also go to this desk. And if I need to play a PC game, I can sit at a desk with a mouse and keyboard. And like in theory, I can be here and he can still sit on the couch. We can split screen it and we can literally just continue with the desk.
I have to tell you, man, because like I was like I had like a couch set up for years and years and years, right? And then upon getting a desk and a chair and like be able to have because we always had the keyboard in your lap and the mouse is like on whatever you can get a hold of, right? Night and fucking day difference. Just night and day. It's so much goddamn easier.
But of course, for me, I often am not playing games that use or require that, right? It's a once in a while thing. Most of the time, I want a controller anyways. So it's rare enough that it won't be an issue. But for the few times that like it's like, okay, well, time to pop in whatever, I don't know, Half-Life 2 or something. It's like, all right, well now we've got the ability to split it up, you know. an ideal, like, super ideal would be the ability to like do a like dual. Well, anyways, I want it to be like the setup can be done from either place, right? So if I wanted to sit on the couch and podcast, I could, or if I want to LP from over here, I could. And so I just got to kind of finalize it, but that's kind of what I'm working on right now. Yeah. So it's going to be good.
Well, congratulations, man. I'm really happy for you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Now you get to enjoy all the wonders of home ownership, which is, hey, this break, who's going to fix it? Oh, yeah. I'm going to fix it.
That's correct. I got the best piece of advice ever in regards to this right off the bat, which was don't be a tenant in your own home.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like, ooh, stop. Think about that for a second. Yeah, that's your problem now. You've got to deal with it. Don't act like you've got a landlord or something that's gonna to answer to / to figure out the problem. You got to.
I have to say though, in my experience as a tenant, there's no difference. Because it was always like, call the landlord over and over and over and over and over. Are you gonna fucking fix this? Are you gonna fucking fix this? Okay, I'm gonna call somebody to come and fix this, and then I'm just gonna bill you. Yeah. And now I just skip the part where I talk to the landlord and I call the man to come over and help me.
Yeah, we had a bit of that. Fortunately, it was only a few things, but those few things lasted sometimes fucking months.
That shit with the pipes.
The pipes took the pipes was like half a year, and then there was the deck, which was literally from the time we moved in till the time we moved out. So, yeah, all that to say that this time around there's a laundry list of stuff, and I've been taking care of it. But for sure, I spent 6.5 hours last week at some point fixing a pipe for a toilet, just in a space that was like it's a closed toilet, and then the wall is right here, and your wrist can't possibly reach in the 2 inches between the wall and there, but you've got to do it anyway. And you're using a basin wrench, which is like the vertical style one, and you're using another type of wrench, which has a little like detachable piece to get in corners and shit. And I'm back bent, crouching over this thing, and it took that long, just turning off mains, tightening pipes, like it's crazy. And I'm like, all right, confirmed. Plumbing sucks. I would never want to be a plumber, right? I can confirm that.
Yeah, but you always need a plumber, so it's good work.
It's good work.
Young people out there, you want to do something the robots won't take from you. The plumbing robots can't take that from you yet.
But conversely, outlet over there was dead, so trip to Home Hardware or Home Depot, whatever that we have, and Punch Mom just did a little scrolling, got some tips on it, and went, oh, okay, cool, got this. Bought our replacement socket outlet, and kill the main, pull the outlet, do the replacement, and it's a lot of it is a lot of that is just like, oh, I learned how to do this already from stripping wires and shit, because you do that for building a stick.
Arcade stick shit.
Exactly, right? So you're just like, oh yeah, we've done this. Put it in, bend the screw, crimp it, yada yada, and in this case, we're like, oh, well, if we're putting an outlet in the wall anyway, why don't we get one of those ones with a USB charger built into it?
Why not?
And we're like, oh, well, we can fucking start doing things and making this place pretty cool, especially since whatever I'm doing to it is for me.
No one's gonna stop you.
Yeah, it's literally...
Now the only problem with that, there's only one problem with that, Woolie, and that's whatever you want to do to it, no one will stop you.
No, they won't. They can't. They can't. But
that's both the blessing and the curse.
Yes, but it's for me to live with and enjoy for the foreseeable future, and I don't have to worry about who comes after me in any. Well, I still, you never.
I mean,
know.
If you ever want to sell it in the future, you don't want to do some insane shit like let's put shitty carpet on all these hardwood floors.
Of course, no. You want to do the opposite, which is what I did, which is, hey, can you redo the floors? Right, and they're like, yeah, sure, and we're like, all right, we'll I'll get around to that at some point, and everyone's like, no, you either do it before you move in, or you're gonna have to get everything out of the way and have a horrible time waiting a week after you're redoing the floors, like when you're already living there, and it's like, oh fuck, right? Because how do you get everything off the floor? You have to move out, so it's like, do you want to really move out and then move back in floor by floor? And then it takes sometimes multiple days for like the wood finish to dry and shit like that, and you're like, okay. So
that is like the most awkward part of buying a house. Like it's the most awkward part of selling a house, and it's also the most awkward part of buying a house. Like, hey, can you change this? I don't want to. Change it. Now.
Yeah. You have to do that. It's quite interesting because like they basically tell you like, I think, what is it? It's like if you take your whatever you're expecting your mortgage to be for the year, 25% of that is going to be spent on like touch-ups the first year you move in right away.
Yeah.
So and like then there's always those things that people talk about with the creeping costs and the unexpected surprises, and we've got things here like we got the welcome tax possibilities, right? You've got the
talking to people about that in BC, right? So I'm buying a house in BC, and they're like, do you guys have a welcome tax? And the guy's like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, I don't know. It's just a tax they just charge you, and I don't know what it's for.
Do you know why?
And no one knows what it's for.
It's the reason why it's called the welcome tax is because that translates to the tax bienvenue.
Yeah.
And bienvenue was the name of the politician who invented it.
Get the fuck out.
Swear to God.
That's the weirdest way around that. That's the most bizarre etymology.
So bienvenue in French is welcome. Therefore, it translates to the welcome tax.
Yeah, so to those of you who are unaware, the welcome tax in Quebec is, did you buy a house? Here's a tax. What's it for? Shut up.
It's the fucking bat in the palm staring at you outside the window tax. Yeah. No. Yeah. There's honestly like there's all kinds of things like that in different places though. Like I know obviously some places you move there's like a HOA that is just like draconian. Like you might move into a neighborhood where the homeowners association is goose stepping down the road, and you might be concerned about that. So it can get pretty trash depending on your situation, but anyways, whatever. At the end of the day, it's one where as many people have said, it's like, yeah, at a certain point too, like it's just kind of, it's an impossible market, but if you can end up not paying rent towards nothing as opposed to towards yourself, then that's a better outcome, right?
Yeah, well, we're very lucky. We're very, very lucky.
And I kind of looked at it and was just kind of, the entire process too was just one of like, but how is anyone supposed to do this? And the answer is just
they don't. Like so
rent it
most
from
folks
BlackRock when they buy that house in the future.
Yeah. God, for Canada, you have the first time a buyer incentive, right? Supposed to help, but like that shit is now outdated and too old. Like it's not enough to help anybody who it's supposed to help.
Yeah, it's interesting too because like the things that I found out in the process were. So like they've made moves to, so one of the things that has happened, so you've got companies like BlackRock, as I mentioned, which are just like, hey, we're just going to buy up houses and then we're going to like rent them to you in the future when there's none left. Enjoy. And then there's the other ones where they're like people outside the country are buying places and then not living in them and just kind of like using them as property to invest in.
When we were selling the house, we had those guys coming around.
Yeah,
and right. they were all like, oh, gross! You are disgusting to talk to.
Yeah, their whole move is, as you can imagine, it's just like, oh yeah, well, it doesn't matter. We're just gonna be way over there across the planet, but like I'll drop some money over here on that, and anyone who might need it, go fuck yourself, right? Um, the interesting thing is that like while there's I guess behind the scenes in a way, there's been tons of like legislation that's passed to kind of like fuck over those people in a way that it's like if you purchase or sell a house but you're not actively like from the air there and living there in any way, and it's just an empty thing, then like they tax the shit out of you, and they put a huge like thing, so they basically try to disincentivize that from happening. But if the person's rich enough, it doesn't fucking matter.
No, they'll eat
right
the tax, and then they'll sit on the land for 20 years, and then the value will go up, and it doesn't matter.
So instead of making, so like it's like, oh, you do that to disincentivize it, but then it doesn't make the actual place any more accessible to people who need it, right? It just literally, like, it's just an inconvenience for the owner, or the seller at the other end of it. But like if you're still shopping, you're still getting fucked over. So it's like there's things where they're like, oh, they'll step in and kind of fix that and deal with that.
No, they won't.
But well, no, from the inside the transaction, but from outside the transaction, you're still fucked as a buyer, So like, yeah, it's obviously, I mean, whatever, like, yeah, Woolie versus the housing market. There's no surprises here. Guess what?
Hey,
it's
guess
fucking
what?
terrible.
The housing market is vicious as fuck.
It's garbage.
And like the process of buying and selling a house introduced me to some of the worst people I've ever met in my entire life. Just like, oh, shake the hand, and then just like gross, disgusting oil person, just made out of grunge.
As an actual real estate agent once said, it's a real knife fight out here. it's a knife fight. That was the description. Yeah. Anyway, so
I'm talking about the friendly transaction of homes and shelter. Why are you describing it as a knife fight to the death?
Yeah. But anyway, that aside, the nightmarish transactional portion is over. Well, not really, because hey, guess what? Yeah, shout outs to a mortgage. Shout outs to
the transaction that will follow you for many years.
Yeah. Equity. That's equity now. But at the very least, it's like, okay, cool. Let's just like put the cool statues up and try to set up the recording thing, and I'd work on hammering nails into walls and figuring it out. So and this is all simultaneously to checking in constantly with the scientists and doing my program and all that, which is,
you seem stressed.
It's a lot.
Is the anti-diabetes juice not working? No, I'm stressed for other reasons. Give him more of the anti-diabetes juice.
Yeah, they have like basically when they're checking your intake and going, okay, on days when you come in for a workout, you're gonna have to take an extra like a protein bar or shake or whatever, and that I'm like, okay, well, I didn't go for an official workout, but I did spend like 8 hours lifting boxes upstairs.
And that's more than enough.
And then a giant couch down a flight of down multiple flights of from the 6th floor down, like it's like, yeah, that's a workout. My Fitbit says it's a goddamn workout. I'm taking my fucking extra calories, But no, that's all still happening at the same time. So it's been quite a wondrous and interesting time, week especially.
Let me ask you: have you run into your neighbors?
Not like in person yet, but I mean, I'm in contact. But I've been in contact with the nearby folks that are around, at least through digital formats.
Because I'm like, so you haven't horribly embarrassed yourself in front of your new neighbors yet?
Not yet, and we'll see pending today how that goes. Hopefully, there should be no way. Well, okay, there should be no way
Should
for
be
that
no.
to happen
Oh,
yet.
come on.
We'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes. At the end of the day, I have a pretty weird name that's Googleable, and who knows who's clicking what where. But I also have another thing where it's like the place has a decent number of windows, and a lot of them are not like curtained yet. So there's a little bit of just like, all right, neighborhood, well, it's all out there. And just give us a second to get on top of that. But until then, hi everybody.
It's like that. It's like, hey.
Well, not too bad, but like in certain areas, there's tactical vantage points, where I'm like, all right, we need to get our curtains up pronto. Yeah. So
At the old place, there was a window that faced the street that like we just never undrew the curtain once because it was like right outside the bathroom, and it was like somebody walking away. They're not in the yard, but they're on the sidewalk and they can look in. And if I'm coming out of the bathroom with no pants because I just fought a battle, like right in.
Yeah.
And like, no, that fucking window is never ever. It might as well be a wall.
Yeah. No, there's a couple of like really nice views type of thing where it's like, okay, well, like this is a wall right here that's like glass, and it's like it's a nice thing to look out on. And then when it's dark, everyone's looking in on you, And I'm also like up really late, so
yeah.
It's gonna be something where, again, if it like, I'm gonna have to figure this situation out a little bit. But anyway, no, whatever. It's
that feeling of like walking away from your house and it's dark and you look at what your house looks like when the lights are on with no blinds, and you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm closing that forever. Everyone can see my nipples. I don't care for it.
Not great. But yeah, no, that's the deal, and ended of an era too, because I really loved the last place. Oh,
it was fantastic.
That place fucking ruled, and it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, never gonna get it like that again, but like, thanks for the memories, and almost as if in perfect like I guess thematic appropriate nature, the burger joint nearby to that place that opened up not too long after we got there closed.
Oh no!
The literally as we were walking away for the final time, we went, what? It shut down? And it's like,
Did you like go there often and they saw you were leaving? And they were like, well, fuck it, we're done?
Like, they made it through the pandemic, up until this point, and then like the final time I was walking away, I was like, what the fuck? Burger joint's gone.
It's like, Woolie, without your business, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't.
So, I mean, I take it as a symbolic, right? End of an era. That's the dove flying away. So, sad to that, but I mean, at the same time too, like there's a bunch of places where like I look back on my favorite joints from like the previous addresses I used to live at, and the nearby like just like small little fun spot, really good quality, but just barely making it, and it's like, oh yeah, like more than half of those just are gone forever.
Oh, they've evaporated.
Super dead, super duper dead. Yeah, it sucks because it's just like I used to like I have a list of like all my favorite spots, but like the old go-tos just died off real real quick, like at the beginning of 2020, and then some stuck around and made it till now, but still couldn't, figure it out past this year. So, anyways, changes.
Well, again, congratulations. I'm fascinated to see. This is Reggie's still coming over, right?
I
was about to say, I'm excited to see you and Reggie sitting around. And I'm like, Reggie's still coming over, right?
Yeah, if he takes a couple buses and hikes to the top of a mountain, maybe. No, he'll be here.
Oh, thank God. Because I like this back and forth, I think works extraordinarily well, like over a distance. But you need to be you and Reggie need to be close. You need to have physical romantic proximity.
There is a required proximity, and I think his naivete / absolute degenerate filth.
I don't get him at all.
You need to be in the room to feel it. Yeah.
Like, the fucking the chaotic evil to lawful good.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, I don't know where because he's not neutral, but he's ping-ponging between I don't know.
Well, it's pretty, like, it's pretty straightforward in that it's like he is casual as far as video games are concerned, and new game plus dark expert as far as deep fetish goes. So
I've never heard the term deep fetish, and I regret hearing it.
I think I just invented it, but here we are. There's just all the time that was spent not playing and learning about the video game shit that we know was spent on other things.
Learning about weirdo shit. Got it.
So there we are. Yeah. Yep. Anyways, so obviously not a ton to talk about outside of what I just did. And that'll continue. The setup tweaking is gonna, things might change a little bit here and there, camera, yada yada. I got this into shape for today, but I still want to perfect a couple of things.
That's the most fun part of, like, okay, I'm moving in secret. Now to turn on all this equipment and get it ready for this time.
Yeah. Here, let me see if I can show you some of the unused tech for a second. I see if I do this.
Right. Okay. Hello, big Woolie.
And then I do.
What's he gonna do? Who could know? Oh fuck! I just closed Discord. Hello.
Don't do that.
Oh no! Now I'm stuck in. Okay, I did it. What the hell? Oh fuck yeah! That's great. It's not super convincing, but it's pretty good.
Oh wait, they can't see that because it's Discord.
So to those of you, you can't. Yeah, pull it back up. So to those of you who can't see at home because you're listening to the audio one, Woolie is masking his old layout as behind him as if he hadn't moved, but there's a little bit of weird pixelation going on.
Of course there is. Let's see.
It's funny. I had the same idea with the stone background, but like I couldn't get it to fucking work. I just couldn't get it to work for shit. It looks so obviously fucking fake. Oh my god, Woolie. Oh, we're both in your old house. Oh my god.
Oh well, you're seeing. Okay, you're seeing.
That's even weirder.
They're not seeing, but yeah. Okay, you gave it a shot as well.
Yeah, and I couldn't get it to work. I don't have the Photoshop abilities that you do, definitely. But
I mean, it's really just the stupid Discord fucking auto green screen thing.
Yeah, I know. But like the place that I was staying at before moving into this place, like, had the window facing it, and the lighting just made it go completely fucking nuts. Why am
Okay.
why am I what is this?
Oh no, because they couldn't see it.
Oh, you're
So
taking a screenshot of the screenshot?
yeah, so basically this I'm just showing the
God,
stream what I
this is so
did,
strange.
right? Which is only on the Discord side. So as you can see, that is what the tech was set up to be. But then there were some difficulties. But not too bad, right? That kind of works a little bit anyway.
It would have passed at a glance if you just like, hey, internet's a little fuzzy today, yada yada.
Yeah,
Oh, hey, how's the internet?
it's great.
Because like the place you were at before, like every now and then there'd be like, and it was like, oh darn.
Yeah, it's great. So far so good. I've also done some tests and saw no hiccups. We'll find out over time, I suppose.
Did you upgrade to a Wi-Fi 6 system?
I did not. Um, we'll see what's necessary, but for now, seems pretty good. If anything, what I'm looking forward to is I bought a whole bunch of cable management like tubing,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna just run that shit all over
in the wall.
all over on the walls, not in the walls.
Because in the walls is like, because I've talked to guys who've thought about it, and it's like, oh wow, that's crazy. US Ethernet port coming right out of the wall. Wow, and then it's like, what if something happens to the cable?
Exactly, right. And there are holes in the wall, like in some places where the previous owners ran a TV with the wiring through the old way when they mounted it.
Okay, so you know it's doable.
But yeah, but it's also like, but I don't like that. That sucks. Like I'd much rather it be accessible, because if something goes wrong, I'm not fucking going inside the walls.
Like right out of view on my setup is a cable nightmare, but it's a cable nightmare I can access in 1 second.
Exactly. And seeing as like, okay, so USBs have improved quite a bit. USB-C, right? Both sides, pretty good. Overall sturdy. And if anything goes wrong, it takes damage on the wire and not the port. Fantastic. Ethernet cables, still garbage. Still absolute trash. And
Literally like no improvement in forever.
the stupid little fucking plastic tabs still break and
Okay, how many times you snap that off?
I mean, I tried
I
not
say
to,
like 4 times for me.
because then they just fall out completely, right? So like I just kind of am like, well, fucking time to get a new wire if it ever really is just like hanging loose.
Hey, you know what, man? If those wires are hanging loose, you know what you need to do? Just switch on over to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Can't have a loose wire then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I so that's the thing, is like, if I'm gonna be running that shitty type of cable into the walls, get the fuck out of here.
Oh no, insane.
You know?
Insane. I would not. I would be absolutely convinced that the cable would be destroyed before the in my mind it's like, oh, we've routed the cable, and you go to plug it in and the cable don't work because it broke or got crimped in a fancy way during the install.
Yeah. Not to mention like pulling some wiring out and it gets stuck on a stud, you know? So then I'm like, I have to get a hanger, straighten it, and then like guide it up through the wall, and then, oh, is that a stud? I hope it's a stud and not cabling for electricity for something else, because
just you know,
there's live
careful.
Fucking electricity behind the wall sometimes as well. Yeah, like it just, yeah, fuck that. Like, just, there's nothing wrong with some nice clean cable management, and you put your, you know, you group them together and just run them all over.
When I moved in, I replaced the hot water heater because it was slightly older, right? So I'm like, okay, get a new hot water heater, right? And that's like a 3-man job. That's like big man with water heater. So they come in and do it, and they're going through the process of like turning off the fuses to make sure they don't kill themselves. And one guy's switching. Well, is it off? I think so. Are you sure? And they're like, they look at me like, can we just turn the whole house off? I'm like, yes, you can just turn the whole house off. Just go, just go ahead, flip the main breaker.
Oh God.
And
Of course. Yeah. Everything we did, we turned the whole house off.
And I'm just thinking, like, I don't trust myself to be responsible in this situation if I'm messing with the innards of my house with live electricity. Anything that I do, I will turn the whole house off.
Yeah, all of it. The whole house comes down, right? And then you have your stud finder, and then you put it to your chest, and you go, huh? And then you...
Yeah. It's required.
Yeah. And then...
got one right here.
And then you can do that and see where where it says it detects a signal. And then you also can get a plug tester to plug it in and plug it into an outlet and go, is there anything coming through this? No. All right. However, you do still want to know you see, the things that you might not know, being a basic YouTube electrician, though, is that like, you're like, okay, well, now we're not using this phone slot, right? The old, literally landline pre-Ethernet, So let's cover this over. And you go to work on that, and you're like, okay, well, we turned the house off, but, oh, wait, that's hooked up to the phone lines outside. That has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with your breaker. So that's always live.
Always.
Yeah.
Phone line is always live, even during most power outages.
Even if you don't have like service in some cases, right? So absolutely. That's the little things you need to know. Not everything in your house is necessarily going to be what's the term? A hot open.
Yeah.
Right. If you hit your main and you turn everything off, then everything should be hot open, but your phone line might not be. So.
Hey, let me ask you something. So you've only been there, what, 4 days, 5 days?
Right? I mean, I've been ushering things back and forth.
No, but I mean, like, you're sleeping there.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like, I don't know if this happens to everybody else, but to me, once I've moved a location that I'm going to be living, it takes me, like, I wake up just violently fucking disoriented, like, for many days in a row. Like, wake up, like, oh, what? No, this is, I live here. I live here now. Do you have that at all?
Not even a single bit, because every day ends on A, reduced calories, B, extensive workouts, and C, massive home restructuring and moving. I am so dead at the end of the day that I just corpse.
Oh no, I'm talking about waking up in the morning.
Yeah, but when I wake up, it's like no. I'm waking up from the sleep of the dead, and it's a slow, gradual, just like nope. I'm almost still tired. Like, I don't have any of that whatsoever, because like the tiredness reminds me immediately of what I just did. It's not a thing. Yeah.
That's okay, because like I had that when when we took the little trip out to Tofino, I had that where I woke up in a hotel and was like, where? What? Like I move locations with confusion.
Yeah, it's just, no, I'm burning the candle at both ends and getting a fucking dead ass sleep out of it. And then waking up if I sleep normally or lightly, like, I might have time to think and feel those things, but I just wake up like, okay, I got 25% of my battery out of that. I'm not back to 100, and I won't be for a while. But what can we do with this 25%? Let's figure it out.
I feel bad because today, we're describing this. I had such a great night's sleep last night. I was just, I was like, I just slept so well, and I wake up and I look over at Paige, and when you wake up and the wife is already awake, and it's the look on their face of like they've been up for a bit, like, hey, what happened? The cat just decided to run around on top of our heads and go every hour on the hour, and I'm just like, oh, that's crazy. Didn't wake me up at all. Oh, good morning.
Roll the dice. Yeah. Okay, well, new things, but also here's things that don't change. I gotta use the bathroom.
Oh no!
I still have to be hydrated as fuck, man.
Oh god, this hydration shit is terrible. Just dry out.
I will not. Good.
You good?
Good. Sorted.
You good? Nice and empty?
Nice and empty. Time to change that. What'd you do?
Okay, let's see. I played some games, I watched some crap. The usual waste of my life that I tend to enjoy. I finally ended up sitting the wife down and watching The Batman, which had been wanting to watch for a while, but it's the kind of like chicken situation. I don't know if you and the wife get into it yourself, but it's this thing of like, hey, you want to watch The Batman? I would really love to watch The Batman. Do you want to watch The Batman today? No, The Batman's 3 hours. That's really long. Let's watch it tomorrow.
Yep.
And that like kind of just goes on for like 8 months.
Yep.
So finally, I put my foot down as the husband. No, and I said, "Hey, honey, I'm gonna go watch The Batman." And she said, "Oh, but I'm tired." I'm like, "No, don't. It's fine. I'm gonna go watch The Batman. I'm gonna go watch Batman now." And then she's sitting there looking at her phone, and I turn it on, and she's like, "Oh, so we're just watching The Batman then?" I'm like, "Yes, I said I was going to watch The Batman." It's just, fine. And then I go and get her water and her pillow and her blanket and all the things that she needs. And then we watch The Batman. That's a long ass fucking movie.
3 hours is a hard commit.
That is, they could have probably cut like the full last part of that movie. Like the last half hour of that movie could have been cut. Other than that, wow, that's a fun and fantastic Batman movie. How wonderful. Robert Edward, Vampire Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Did a great job as the Batman. I think he's a fantastic Batman. And I specifically want to give a thumbs up to the makeup department on that movie, because they make him look like burnt shit for the whole movie. Like every time the Batman mask comes off, he looks like trash.
No, he's young and shitty. That's
like, he looks like he has never slept in his life.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the actor's name. Do you know the actor's name who played Gordon? He was also on Westworld.
Yeah.
There's a black guy with like the beard and the
Jeffrey Wright.
glasses. He's great.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. And I think Colin Farrell demanding to be in fat guy makeup is fantastic. Apparently, he was originally just supposed to be Colin Farrell as the Penguin, and then was like, but I don't look like the Penguin. I demand that you put me in tons of weird fat guy makeup.
Fantastic.
That's just stellar. I think that's a great movie. I think that is too long. But but it is also fantastic.
I never would have pictured Andy Serkis as Alfred, but it worked. Younger, like it worked. I feel
like Andy Serkis has the Andy Serkis problem in that he's Andy Serkis.
He's Andy
and
Serkis.
I can't not see Andy Serkis.
Yeah, he did it though. But it's like, anyway, I guess you're used to the animated series, and you're used to Master Bruce, and and you're kind of like, that's the image in your head. But no, he pulled it off. And quirky villain, right? With the quirks being all quirk-filled. Yeah. Paul Dano, he made the weird faces and he made the weird expressions, and you're like, oh, that's a weird guy.
That's a weird, crazy Batman villain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was great.
Good.
Really, like it's kind of strange to see a movie and not have like anything of note to say about it other than like, really good. I think everyone on the movie did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very interesting way to portray Batman as like a sad, pathetic loser with anger problems who is technically like you remember in the Nolan Batman movies, they tried to be like, Batman existing has escalated all the villains because he's a weirdo, but it didn't really.
They exist because he exists.
It didn't really play because there was no like point A to point B. I feel like they actually make a really good excuse on this of like, hey, no, a weirdo running around doing vigilante shit has totally empowered other weirdos to do terrorist vigilante shit. Oops. Great movie. Loved it.
Yeah. Also, Zoe Kravitz, Jesus Christ. Fucking wow. She's ridiculous. She's distractingly, strikingly, insanely hot.
Was that wait? Zoe Kravitz is in like Lenny Kravitz?
Yeah, who would have thought that Lenny Kravitz's kid is also ridiculously hot?
Well, famous people tend to have beautiful children.
It's kind of insane. It's just Jesus fuck wow yeah. Yeah, shocker.
You know what else was shockingly incredible? The fucking murder of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, indeed.
So on not April Fools, on March 31st, Sonic, I guess Sonic the Hedgehog, not Sega, put out a game called The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Was that not on April 1st?
It was on the closing hours of March 31st.
I heard about it. Okay, because I saw it on April 1st. Yeah, and the trailer certainly felt like an April Fool's trailer, because they're like, we've heard all the feedback, we've read all of it, and we finally decided to take Sonic in a new direction.
He's dead.
Yeah.
And what it is a obviously very small scale, but it is a Phoenix Wright adventure, murder mystery as to who killed Sonic the Hedgehog, involving such winners of the Sonic canon as Blaze the Cat, Vector, and SPO.
Hell yeah. Get those chaotics in there.
Fucking loser SPO in this fucking game. Unbelievable. It's well produced. The music's great. The little gameplay sections are fun and weirdly difficult. The mystery is interesting. It's great. It's a great little funny little game.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet, but just peeped in and saw some footage of it, and it seems like the most streamer bait ass game you can possibly make. Like, I feel like between that and the other stuff they've been doing. Have you seen the promo for the Yoko Taro Sega's Evil game?
I have not.
Okay, because they basically had tweets coming out where they're putting out like government statements as if Sega Corp City is like talking about like the vandals and the underground fighting against the Sega government resistance.
That's great.
Right? And it's just like, yeah, like they're putting out these like streamer bait ass games. Because just going Sonic is dead, who doesn't want to go in on that and just make all the fucking memes? You know?
Yeah, no, but hey, guess what? Here's the fun part about it. So you expect it to be, because it's, Sonic's dead. Oh no, and you expect it to be like a meme force or, goofy. It's actually really sincere.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like really official.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, but Knuckles doesn't get pregnant. Rouge isn't inflating anybody. It's actually just it's played totally straight.
Everything we like about Sonic characters without the running.
Yeah, except there's running.
On the little mini game?
Yeah, the little mini game.
Yeah.
When you have to think really hard, your character pulls out a fake Game Gear and plays mentalized Sonic levels in their mind.
Nice.
Yeah, no, fantastic game. It's free. They gave Knuckles a cool hat.
Mm-hmm.
I think Knuckles looks cool in his hat. I think that, yeah, it's just fun. It's just a fun little Phoenix Wright adventure. And one of the cute things is that you can't name your character Monokuma or Phoenix Wright. the character will refuse and go like, I don't think I could show my face around here if I did that.
That's pretty good. Nice.
It's like, oh, that's cool. I love that. So yeah, no, fantastic.
I mean, based on what I'm hearing about this as well, like, yeah, like the comparison basically being like, oh, it's almost like they took a run from the comic and just turned it into a game or so.
Ian Flynn is like thanked as like a production member.
Considering how IDW has been going for a long time, and there's been some good ones. It makes you almost kind of think like they could probably, if they wanted to, create a VN Sonic miniseries that
totally
encapsulates what the comics are about.
Well, also here's the thing: the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, it's canon, and it takes place after Sonic Frontiers.
Whoa. Okay. Huh. It's canon.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to know how canon? They talk about going on vacation to Spagonia.
With the Spagos.
The Spagos.
With the Spagos. That's pretty amazing. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a rich source. The canons, the comics. That's a rich source for just like pulling out some VN shit if you wanted to go down that road. That'd be free money.
It reminds me of the Dead by Daylight visual novel that was also excellent. And like, this just seems like the format for a very cheaply made, like low budget, like brand vehicle. The visual novel is the way to go. I would love to see more of this shit. I'd actually like to see. So
yeah, and if this first one, obviously it's a bit game, right? It's a joke, so like it's a free download. I'm saying if they made a series and then like sold you chapters or whatever they wanted to do, that could probably go on for a while. It'd be fun.
I think that Paige nailed it when she beat it. She's like, the genius on this is that she wants to go play Sonic games because like when you beat it, you're like you're filled with this like I like Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and some of the assorted other weirdos that are here. I like those characters. I would like to play a game with those characters in it.
The Eggman vlogs were interesting, right? In Frontiers, like the Eggman logs that you kind of just watch him list off a bunch of comic only shit and whatnot. Like that stuff. So yeah, there's enough they've built up with these characters and over the years and the lore and there's just a whole crowd of them that like for sure they should do more.
And on a professional note, as a content creator, boy, visual novels are murder on your fucking throat.
Mm-hmm.
There,
Mm-hmm.
my I was doing a couple gags as like Snap Cubes Robotnik, Piss on the Moon Robotnik. That was like 2 days ago. My throat is finally better today.
Yep. Yep.
Like it's rough.
I'm that like as I, enter into the world of Final Fantasy games and deciding,
That
okay,
existed prior to the year 2001.
yeah, and we're gonna voice, over like RPGs and shit like that line by line. Um, there are games that are just books, and I'm like, I need to if I can find the solution to this,
9 is not a book.
FF9 is not a
Fucking
book.
Woolie, could you imagine? Could you fucking imagine getting 2 hours into an LP of 13 Sentinels and going, when is the voices gonna turn on?
Oh god, well, 2 hours into Disco Elysium, the not final cut.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's exactly. Did you stream that or did you play that off
I
camera?
I played it off camera, and
I streamed it the once, and when I'm not doing this, I'm not gonna.
I felt such melancholy because I was so in love with it, and my throat was just ragged trying to narrate and do all the other things, and it was just, and changing for each character you're meet, like it just
I think I did 90 minutes on stream, maybe 2 hours, and I got to like the front door of the Whirling in Rags and was like, I am stopping now.
Yeah, and that's currently my Planescape Torment problem, so
Dude, Planescape Torment rules so hard.
it seems. So it seems. And I'm really like, I'm really dedicated to solving this if I can.
I did well, I'm gonna give you my expertise on this. I did Pillars of Eternity way back, which had very little voice acting. And that doesn't have as many words as Planescape Torment. And that took me like over a year and a half and was just ragged by the end of every session. It was not feasible.
Yeah, and but that's exactly it. So like when I say like I want to do something like Front Mission and everyone goes, "You're fucking crazy," I'm like, no, but I want to go even harder than that on things that are more wordy, So
you know what you should do? Just don't read it.
That's an option. That is an option.
Just fuck it. Hope you're looking at the screen, losers.
Yeah, there is always the possibility of, hey guys, this one you're just gonna have to have the video up, right? I know it's gonna be real upsetting for some people, but there's no solution otherwise. But I'm gonna that's the like the final straw, right? If there's no other way to do this, the final straw is too bad. Like just the words are gonna scroll. Yeah,
I've actually even gone like a further in the opposite direction. I don't play games subbed anymore because like I found that there's like no solution to me. Like I'm reading the dialogue while I'm talking over the characters. I'm not reading the dialogue. What the fuck did they say? I'm on the toilet. I'm just listening to you as a radio show.
And I mean, Mass Effect is certainly pushing that, right, too, because we're reading out codecs, we're reading out, details on scans on planets and stuff. We're doing a whole lot of reading besides that game being already voiced, right? So, yeah, there's a couple of things I want to look into, and one of them that I kind of workshopped on the air was the possibility that I was like, what if I got the script for the game and dropped it in a text-to-speech and then was able to move from one line to the next with the help of like something running on the side. That is intense. It sounds crazy.
And the characters can be the United States presidents.
I don't know if the game is linear enough for that to make any sense, but it's something I would like consider like, oh, maybe if I can just like go, okay, next line, next line, next line, and you know what I mean. And then like, oh, I'm talking to who? All right, but it's fucking.
I
Then
don't know
I'm
how
just
you would even get the script of the game.
yeah. I then have to take on the role of like essentially producer for the thing.
I don't
at the
know
same
how
time.
you would, like, game scripts don't just float around,
You know,
right?
or you compromise and you go, all right, narration will be voiced with a script, TTS, and then we'll do the characters, and you know,
So
and then you find a way
so
to.
I tried two variations of this back on Chrono Trigger in Yakuza 4, where I was already familiar with the game and I was able to like read very quickly what they were saying. So I was just hitting X as fast as I could and then just paraphrasing like what was being said. And I thought that was a good enough solution. It was not a good enough solution. I thought I was being really clear.
No,
I was not being really clear.
no. Also, I if I paraphrase, I will not. I will miss important context, so I
Yeah.
can't paraphrase. You know, if I'm because I'm thinking about multiple things, I'm
Yeah.
also like I have to go through it to make sure I'm getting it completely. So, anyways, it's this is what it is. But yeah. So what's breaking right now?
Oh,
Are we?
I'm no, these
Are
are for
we?
later. These are
Okay.
for
All right.
later.
All right.
These are, don't worry about those.
All right. Things are popping. All right. No
All right.
worries.
What else?
I did watch the first episode of Last of Us and it was fantastic, and I'll probably come back and have more to say when I finish that.
Have you
but
played it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
like there's two watches, right? There's people who did play it and people who didn't. And
Yeah.
if you didn't play it, I could not imagine any complaints because the acting and the cinematography and all that is like dead on A+.
No. I
The
play.
only complaints that I have are like, I wish they had done this from the game, or you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna see that that little side by side afterwards. But no, I did, and yeah, just I fucking loved it, and
Mhm.
I didn't play 2, and I basically intended to figure that out at some point down the line when it didn't feel like I was being told what I had to think about it, because it was just I'm like, I want to play this in the dark, in the cold, and figure it out on my own at some point. But yeah, it was just way too at the time. So we'll see.
Let's see what else. What else is on the list? I'm going to my video producer on Twitch. That's how I figure out what I did with my week. Oh shit! I can't believe I forgot. Yo, have you heard about the indie game Dredge? So I was pointed to this by one Casey Explosion, the sloth mom on Twitter. Dredge is one of the best games I have played this year, which I think we're saying this year a lot already. Dredge is a fishing game in which you play a little fishing tugboat, and you will be going around various regions and fishing up about 120 different kinds of fish, and you'll be doing little side quests and upgrading your boat to get better rods, or get better crab traps. But the ocean that you are traveling through is horribly cursed by the undergods.
Oh, cool art style.
And driving around your boat will increase your fisherman's madness as you continually dredge up more and more nightmarish abominations from the deep as you search to find the relics of a long lost love in order to summon a dark god.
Fishing.
Yes.
I see a lot of sailing here, and I know people hate sailing, but I fucking love it. Is the sailing fun?
It is totally fun.
Nice.
You are controlling an adorable little tugboat as you are trying to fish in the waters outside Yarnum, basically. As you you'll there's 128 fish in the game. there's like actually only like 35 to 40 different kinds of fish, but there are fucked up eldritch abomination variants of every single fish in the game, such as a fish horribly encrusted with bone eyes, or infecting the rest of your cargo with some kind of horrible like ectoplasm. It is a great fishing adventure game with an incredible setting and a really good story and excellent music and controls.
This just came out like a few days ago.
Yeah, I have already almost beaten it, not because it's short, but because I've been going super hard on it.
Okay.
Dredge is incredible. When you fish the fish, you have to attaché case rotate the fish into your inventory.
Fantastic.
Because the fish all have different shapes.
The description,
so
that's
good.
great. The description says inspired by RuneScape.
I don't understand that at all. But yeah, absolutely fucking fantastic. Incredible. Can't stop playing it. Almost got killed by a gigantic eldritch crab that was disguising itself as a plane on the beach. Like, great game. Excellent game. Can't talk up Dredge enough.
Yeah.
And I'm at like the 99% mark. I was playing it right before coming over, and I got to there's multiple endings, and the endings just tell you, hey, when you embark on this ending, we're not going to save your game, so you can just go do the other one.
Nice.
If you feel like it. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, this art style is fantastic.
It's so good. It's fantastic.
Is it 2D or 3D?
It is 3D, but it is painted.
Okay. The cutscenes are like fucking doing it.
It's stellar. I can recommend Dredge to everyone. It is both interesting and a fascinating new concept, but also easy to play and super cool. I love it. I love Dredge. It's great. Darkest Dungeons fishing game, I guess I could call it.
I mean, I see the vibes. I don't want to just call anything that is 2D and eldritch looking Darkest Dungeon, but yes.
Yeah. But also it really does
reminiscent
pull from that. Yeah. Easy recommend. This year is going to be like the most brutal game of the year, like argument that in many years.
Well, like I guess it all, as usual though. It kind of depends on what you're down for, right? Like, what is your genre? But
that's the thing. That's my point. Sometimes a game comes out and it's like, oh, that's the one. That, like, when Elden Ring came out, everyone's like, come on, let's all be real. It's going to be Elden Ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
This time around, Hi-Fi Rush and RE4 and now this, it's like fucking really good this year, fucking good. And now then you'll have to subdivide into genres.
Yeah, I always want to know like when these projects started, so that like it's like, are we seeing like the secret culmination of like a couple years just finally dropping now, and furthermore, are we seeing the power of not being tethered to an E3 schedule? Because that's when you kind of get to just, develop not around a landmark for a game show. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to push bad vertical slices.
So yeah,
but we'll get to that.
I don't know how long it's been in dev. I only found out about it just right before it came out, but fantastic. And also, so you talked about Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog as streamer bait, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the other games I played this week is also streamer bait, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know how much fun it would be off stream. It's called King of the Castle. And there's two ways you can play it. One is with you and up to 23 opposing friends. And the other way is for you to play as the Monarch against up to 4,000 people in your Twitch chat.
Okay.
So I played the version where I played against people in my Twitch chat. And it is a really simple game at the end of the day that is just excellently put together. It is, hey, you're the king, and then chat will be filed into 3 opposing noble factions, and everyone is trying to win. Everyone's going to set a goal, such as, you have stats like military. So the monarch has the stats of authority and stability for the kingdom, and the 3 enemy factions are going to have military, faith, farming, trade, religion, etc. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you will start, and it will say, listen, hey, patricians, or no, the barons. Hey, barons, you want to overthrow the king. How do you want to overthrow the king? And then they decide, we're going to blow the king up. We're going to smuggle in some gunpowder and blow the king up. So, okay, that's your plan that you've decided to go for. In order to enact the first step of your plan, you need to have the kingdom's stability be high so that you can sneak in the gunpowder or something like that, right? And so then the barons are trying to keep stability high through various little visual novel style choices. Like you'll get a little event.
People are
right?
participating via chat commands, right? They don't have to load it
so
up.
the way that so say you're on the barons team, you've joined with the chat, / exclamation point join, and you joined the barons, right? And you've all voted amongst yourselves, hey, we want to blow up the king with gunpowder, right? And so, we have to keep stability high. It'll give you a goal, keep stability above this number, right? And then in 2 turns, you'll succeed in part 1 of your goal. Then I go and click through events, right? Events such as, there's a plague, there's werebores in my castle, blah, blah, blah. And then the series of choices that will increase certain faction stats or decrease others or increase stability or decrease authority are then voted on by everyone. And the monarch has the ability to influence that by vetoing certain decisions or incentivizing money for certain other decisions. And so it becomes this back and forth of me trying to reach my own goals by somehow convincing the entirety of chat to vote for the things that I want to. I have to convince stability to go down. I have to figure out the way to get the counts and the patricians to get their militaries up so that the barons can't succeed in their military goals. But while they're all fighting amongst each other, I have decided I want to hit trade and it's all going this. And it is just a formula to get you to fight with your audience.
Yeah. Okay. Is it all menus or is there any visual? It is all menus. Okay, it's all
there's nice visuals to it.
Okay.
Right. And what they do
championship
is
manager though.
Yeah, more or less. Okay. And what they'll do is it's really smart. So when people join in on Twitch chat and you link your Twitch account, if you've bought the game, if you happen to own the game and you're in Twitch chat, well, your character can be customized to appear however they want and will have a dramatically likely higher chance of showing up as a main character. And so you get into these weird situations in which like chat members are like directly responsible for rebellions or are murdered or responsible for allowing some horrible plant to take over the castle. And it's just a great fucking like super board game, I'm gonna call it.
And when the guillotines drop, they can have a nice accurate visual of your head on a spike.
Yeah,
okay.
And then you get the breakdown of who won. So like one of the features of the game is rebellion, if because the final stat on each of the different factions is displeasure with the way things are going. Defiance. So if I decide to, I don't know, tax the counts, like at the end of your session, you get to pick a common tax, or you can tax specific groups so that they have less money to influence things later, right? So say I tax the counts, like, I don't know, 6 turns in a row, like I did. And I felt really confident because the counts had the worst military. They had a military of 1, right? Like, even if they rebel, well, who gives a shit, right? They have a military of 1. They'll never defeat the combined sources of the other 2. Mm-hmm. Well, during the actual progression of the war, I accidentally overspent the treasury down to 0, which caused the army to desert, which gave them an instant win.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Twists.
So maybe I should have managed my defiance slightly better so that they didn't rebel.
So this sounds like a just litmus test of the how you've trained your chat and the personality that they have, because different streams have different chats.
Absolutely.
And different chats have collective different energy, right?
Yeah.
And you train that. You cultivate
absolutely.
it. So this is just
like
letting it bear fruit.
When I played Vermintide 2 with the Twitch chat integration, chat was just spamming throw more rat ogres at him into chat for like an hour and a half, and the game became like totally uncompletable. Right? So I'm well aware of this. So when you start the coronation, there's a lot of different ways you can throw the coronation, and 3 for 3 they're like, throw him into the river, throw him into the fucking river, do it. And so I discovered very easily that I'm like, okay, what is the number one way to get this massive group of people to actually do what I want? And it's to say that I want them to do the other thing.
Okay.
Is for me like, guys, I think we should spend the treasury money to hire a witch to cleanse the forest or whatever. And like, I can now guarantee that they will not pick that. They will never pick that. They will fight amongst each other to not pick that.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. That sounds fun.
It is a fucking blast. The only issue I have with it, and I played 3 games of it, and I was like, I don't know. And then I look at the upcoming patch notes, and the upcoming patch notes for version 1.1 of King of the Castle are, we are buffing the Monarch. We are well aware that it is almost impossible to actually win as the Monarch. And I'm like, okay. So I'm going to wait for that patch 1.1, and then I'm going to go back and just fucking run a dynasty forever.
I feel as if, like, again, it depends on which stream. Like, if you can politic towards a group of earnest, enthusiastic, positive Twitch chatters that are the ones that they show
all help
in ads, then maybe you can get those outcomes. But the neighing and braying of farm animals that we have over here will not allow you to pass go, will not allow you to collect $200. So I can't see any outcome nearing victory being possible. I just see how bad can it get is the goal.
Well, they did kill me in most of those.
Well, how about that?
But even the friendly Twitch chat, I mean, it's an antagonistic system. Like, in order to win, everyone else must lose.
Okay, non-zero sum.
Where it gets to be really interesting is the manipulation bullshit gets really intense when it's like, guys, if this vote goes through against me, the other faction will instantly win and you'll lose. So now we have to work together. You have to do what I want, unless you want the grandees to win.
I mean,
do you want the grandees to win? They're gonna win if they win this vote.
Someone once said, as they jumped off the ledge, "You didn't win.
Yeah,
you didn't win."
Hey, listen.
So you know, we learned from watching you. All right, we learned from watching you.
I will say though that vetoing, I you get a little taste of government. Vetoing something that people really like fucking owns. It feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at an option like, oh, I know they're going to pick this option, and I'm going to veto it. They can't pick that option. They have to choose 2 shittier options. I'm like, oh, now I know how it feels. Oh, I would veto every bill.
Interesting.
Run this fucking kingdom into the dirt.
No, like it sounds like it would be fun to try politicking, but like you'd have to, there would have to be some semblance of a shot. I wonder what the smaller version is like. What you said, 25 people?
Yeah, I'm not super sure. I imagine what it is that the 24 people are all split amongst the different factions, and no one is playing the Monarch. The Monarch is just AI controlled.
Sounds interesting. Okay.
Did I do anything else? No, I didn't. I'm good. I'm done. I'm done with my week.
Okay.
Oh, aside from watching people discover Resident Evil 4 skips, uh, when you remember when Elden Ring came out and people were breaking that game open like an egg and just scooping out its delicious speedrun technology?
Mm-hmm.
That's happening to RE4. And like every single day, people are like, "Did you know you could just skip this whole encounter if you shot this one thing going backwards?"
But are we still in the realm of intended skips?
No.
Okay.
We are now in the realm of there's at least like 15 intended skips that just skip like a room here or there. We are now in the realm of, well, if you take a sniper rifle out, crouch, and turn kind of weird, you can just teleport through this door.
Yeah. Okay.
It's been discovered that there's a lot of doors that open from one side as shortcuts that you can just back up through and just teleport through and just skip like massive amounts of the game.
So, when are the modders gonna get Mousely modded in?
So I was thinking about this. So Mousely, so do you know where Mousely came from?
No.
It's just like Bowsette. One person said, "Hey, what if Ashley was a mouse and wanted to cheese?"
Oh, that one tweet. Yeah, I saw that
one tweet. Yeah, and then it got retweeted 12 million times. And everyone's like, "Okay, Mousely, let's
art
go."
prompt. Mm-hmm.
What I think is happening. So like the Lewis and Leon don't have shirts and are oiled up mod. That's probably relatively simple, right?
Modify the model, drop it back in.
Anthropomorphized mouse Ashley probably requires more work. I bet
Guaranteed.
there's a team working on it, and they're working really hard to make it really good before putting it out.
As we speak, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, that's what I personally think is happening. But yeah, no, RE4 is going to be one of those games that they get down to like an hour, probably. Okay. That game's great. Oh, Mercenaries is out this week. Oh, fuck yeah.
What a year so far.
It's
heavy hitters right off the top.
We could have a game of the year argument right now.
At the same time, though, it's already been a quarter of the year, right? We're already in April.
Oh, it's usually not this bad.
That was a full-on King Crimson. Here we are. It's April.
Yeah. It does feel like that sometimes. Maybe that's just because we're getting old.
Of course, it's the acceleration. But also, like, yeah, but no. Because like, everyone always is like, like, people younger are still like, Jesus Christ, already? Like, it really is. Like, yeah, we're hitting that made in heaven shit. Cool. Well, if that's the case, before we move into what's going on.
Oh, yeah, if you want to watch some of my stupid crap, go to twitch.tv/PatStaresAt during the week. It's good.
And Woolie versus over here. Woolie versus the algorithm for the clips and the edited bits. Some good stuff dropping as per usual. Versus University. Now available on Woolie versus the algorithm. If you want to learn what you can do to become the next darling influencer, all you need to do is sign up to Versus University. So go take a click, and then you too will be the proud owner of a Bugatti.
Did you wake up in it?
I did not, but soon. Goals, one at a time. Yeah, and then we got another clip. dropping real soon. So check that out. And of course, this week as well, I'm going to have sporadic scheduled days. I'm going to see if I can get the setup going and have everything good for some point this week. So of course, check my Twitter. I'll let you guys know. But yeah, I'm gonna, FF9 and Mass Effect 3 will continue as soon as I get everything up and running. I'm gonna probably just do like a temp setup so that we can just get it going at the very least, and then refine over time.
My temp setup in this room was so fucking pathetic. No camera, and I was sitting on a coffee table.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think I can get us a little
probably
bit.
Do better than that.
A little bit. But it won't be a full week because all again, moving setup shit aside, I still am doing this fucking this program that's intense. So stay tuned to Woolie Versus for more. All right. Quick word from the sponsors.
I love sponsors. And then we should probably take a bathroom break.
That works. This week, the podcast is sponsored by HelloFresh.
Love you, HelloFresh.
HelloFresh is about getting food. It's about getting food where you want, when you want, what you want, how you want. Cheap and
reliable. Delicious.
Yeah. So, you know the deal. Sometimes it sucks figuring out how to make good food. Sometimes it sucks figuring out how to get good groceries and not break the bank. And also you got to go get it, and that's terrible. And you waste time, and you don't even know what you're doing because you're not a chef. So what if a bunch of chefs told you what to do? And then
there has to be a better way than thinking.
Yeah. So HelloFresh, right? You get the box with the fresh recipes, 40 recipes, and over 100 seasonal convenience items that you choose from. Each week they can ship you to your tastes. You can add and subtract sides, proteins, veggies, whatever you want to customize. And then, you get a simple card, usually 4 steps or so, sometimes just real simple. The ingredients are always, again, fresh, nothing frozen. And you are on a fast track to Flavor Town.
Love Flavor Town.
There you go. You don't even have to get the fiery shirt on or anything.
But I don't want it.
No one's going to stop you. But
no one can stop me.
Nonetheless, HelloFresh, get in there. And if you have preferences for vegetarian, vegan, keto, protein, regular, balanced, you can get boxes for 2, for 4. You can mix it up as much as you want, or you can even take a pause if you are on a break or if you want to change locations temporarily. So they're very flexible with that. We've enjoyed quite a few of their recipes, especially in a situation where most of your shit in the kitchen is in boxes and you're not able to fully partake of your usual things. It's very convenient to have everything nicely packaged, delivered, and good to go in 15 minutes or less, right? Love that. I'm kind
of hungry now, honestly.
If you want to get in there, you got to head on down to hellofresh.com/superbeast50, and you'll use the code superbeast50 to get 50% off, and your first box ships free. Again, that's hellofresh.com/superbeast50, and the code superbeast50 will get you 50% off, plus your first box ships free. That's America's #1 meal kit. Thanks, HelloFresh.
Thanks, HelloFresh.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by ExpressVPN, who are out there defending you against the scary stuff. Okay, here, what do we got? The scary part that your phone carrier collects data on whatever you're doing. Verizon has even admitted to it so they can better understand your interests, but really, they just want to sell your activity to advertisers. Stuff like what you've been up to and what you're doing online, and the more they can get on you, what you're looking at, and the more they get on you, the bigger the paycheck becomes. Yeah, that sucks. Selling your data with you as the product, it's no good. That's annoying. So ExpressVPN prevents that. You can prevent your phone carrier. You can prevent your ISP. You can prevent the nosy little kid that's hacking your Wi-Fi as we speak.
Don't hack my Wi-Fi, nosy little kid.
Go chase him. Go chase him. He's going to take extra
Get
long.
out of here!
Yeah. And he's going to run off with his high-tech gadgetry. But he'll be back. And that's why you need ExpressVPN. Protect all your network data. Stay private. Across your phone, across your apps, across your various devices. You hit the button, and it masks all that data. And again, it also tells you, hey, you want to be where now? And I'll be like, I want to be in Ingerland. And it's like, cool. Now you can watch.
Yeah, that's a real place.
Now you can watch all the streaming stuff from Ingerland. So that's really useful, and I appreciate it. You can get in on the opportunity by visiting expressvpn.com/superbeast and get the same VPN we use. Take back your online privacy, and you can use our link today to get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/superbeast. expressvpn.com/superbeast. Thanks, ExpressVPN.
Thanks, ExpressVPN.
And this week, the podcast is also sponsored by DoorDash, who are
DoorDash.
about dashing you the food from the restaurants you like.
Dude, I want restaurant food in my mouth, but I don't want to move, talk to anyone, or do anything reasonable to get food into my mouth.
Okay, well, they have not yet invented Mouth Dash, where the dasher shows up and then
okay, you know what?
Airplanes the food right into your gullet.
I'm willing to pick the food up out of a box and put it in my mouth, but that's it.
Okay, what if it's also wrapped with some packaging just for extra?
I'll unpackage the food, but you're really pushing it.
Okay, well, we'll have to back things off a little bit, so the food will not be airplaned straight into your mouth, but it will show up quickly to your front door and be placed securely on the stoop.
You know what? This is fair.
Great. Then that's where you want to get DoorDash involved, because, you just jump on the app and see where you want to order from. They'll deliver from your favorite restaurants. You can even get groceries delivered there, too. You can get convenient items and things that you want and need around the house that you need to pick up regularly. Get some toilet paper running low. Jump on DoorDash. They'll get in there. They'll cover that for you.
Will the DoorDash man bring me the toilet paper roll when I need it?
When you're stuck in
I really need it.
When you're I don't think Bowl Dash is yet a service, right? But I think they can get it to the door, and maybe if you
waddle out there,
if you ask real nice and tip, they might even like open a package and put like a single fold of. No, they'll never open your package. That's crazy. They would
never do that.
That'd be weird. So. In the meantime, though, that's fine. I don't want it to go any further than my doorstep. So please, come drop off the toilet paper right there, and I'll waddle out and solve the problem. That's everything from the door to the bathroom inside the house is my problem.
Yeah, you're right. That is, yeah.
So yeah, get in on that, and if you want more value, you can also get a Dash Pass membership, which lets you save on your restaurant favorites and grocery deliveries with 0 delivery fees on all eligible orders. So, get 50% off your first DoorDash order up to a $20 value when you use the code CSB at checkout. Limited time offer, terms apply. That's 50% off up to a $20 value, no minimum subtotal, and 0 delivery fees when you make your first order by downloading the DoorDash app in the App Store and entering the code CSB. Don't forget, code CSB for 50% off your first order with DoorDash. Thank you, DoorDash.
Thanks, DoorDash.
And now, the bathroom. Okay. Excuse me.
All right. So, are we on to news then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Woolie, there's breaking news! There's breaking news from just a few hours ago! I deleted and reset the articles to you in order of operations. Would you like to read the headlines of these breaking news?
Shot. Oh. In order.
I reordered it.
In order. Okay, hold on. In order. Overwatch 2 Season 4 New Hero Lifesaver. The Overwatch 2 hero Lifesaver, a ranged healer with a massive amount of...
Lifeweaver, buddy.
Weaver, excuse me. What, my brain auto-completed to Lifesaver. Lifeweaver, a ranged healer with a massive amount of utility under his belt, otherwise known as Niran Pruxamani. The plant-based pansexual is the first Thai hero to enter the multiplayer game. And,
hey,
yeah.
Congratulations! Thailand gets a representation, and they're pan, which means this pretty man also enjoys a spot of penis.
There you go.
Good job for the queer community.
Or anything.
Wow.
Really? Yeah. So representation, big points. Chaser. The NLRB says Activision Blizzard illegally surveyed employees during a walkout if found merit in the unfair labor practice charges filed by the Communication Workers of America.
Oops.
Double that. Activision Blizzard has been sued by the U.S. Justice Department for alleged antitrust violations related to its Call of Duty and Overwatch esports leagues, including limiting competition and suppressing player wages. So I'm going to update the theory here because I think it's just proven at this point, right?
It's so proven.
Design character. Reflect the scoreboard. Point to the scoreboard. High score. Sit on it.
Sit on it.
Glass. Put glass in front of character. And do not break glass until controversy.
Which will happen.
Inevitably.
It will.
It's kind of a wild... It's wild, like bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Like... Because it's so blatant and brazen, and they just keep doing it.
You know what the funnest thing is about this? This one. So there are two stories to deflect from, right? One is illegally surveying people during a walkout, and so it's a labor union issue. And the other is they're being sued by the U.S. Judgment Department for antitrust because they're fucking over the esports people and messing up and suppressing their wages. You can actually tell which one of these the character was supposed to deflect. Because the news about illegally surveying people during the walkout, that dropped at 5:40 this morning, right? The character dropped at 11:40 this morning, and the news about the Justice Department lawsuit dropped at 12:30.
Oh, okay. So the move, right, on the press now, your move, press, is to plan the counterplay. When the deflection goes up, we need the new form of ballista to surpass the shields or to get around, right? We need the spear tech to be invented. If they always have a character announcement to break the glass, that the first attack will never work. All right, yeah. The shield is up, diver down is inside. He's gonna tank the first hit. It doesn't matter. Yeah,
it's like labor practice violation. He's pretty and he kisses boys. All right.
Right.
We stopped it.
You need to divide the into a two-pronged attack, and you need to pincer. You need to cut from both sides.
They'll never have two characters ready to go.
Yeah, when they're going for the counter breaker, right? But if you get a shadow counter going, you're gonna have to guess which one of the breakers they're gonna pick. So it's actually to your benefit, journalists, press, to find two stories at a time and save them together.
It is so fucking funny.
Don't just break the first story. Check with everybody and hold it, right? Store this power, right? And then find the second story and then use that to just bow, 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 bow. And then they deflect and then you come back in and you just X cut. Hold the story. It's good. Beware the second swallow.
It's so obvious. It's so obvious that when I saw the character got announced, I saw people going, "What's gonna happen? Like, what's coming out today?"
Oh man, what a strategy! Like,
but it doesn't work.
And you have to wonder if like the people working on it like are told like, well, I guess no, because you make the character, you design it, and then you don't know what's gonna roll out when. You know, you just never know. So like, it's just I'm thinking a lot, right? And it's like, okay, yes, you can have the character behind glass, but what does that actually mean? Well, if it meant that the boss can send an email that says release Lifeweaver now, the shit's going down, that might get complicated if the person who receives that email has decided to walk out. So maybe it's actually just a button, like a full-on automated task button that gets clicked that instantly updates Battle.net and Twitter and all the live services to just bypass the probability of that issue occurring.
I think the ultimate one that we saw was with Soldier 76, because sexual orientation is really useful for this kind of diversity metric, because you can't see sexual orientation on the character, right? And you don't have to actually do anything, right? You don't actually do anything.
Wife lever.
76, they literally just put out a tweet like, he's bi also.
Yep. Straight up. Execute Order 66. I think it's that simple. A line of defensive plays, you know? Now here's the thing though, right? The next time, if they charge up the second swallow, right? And you get the first hit, and then they defend, and then you beware the second, and then that lands, will Blizzard drop a second character the next day?
No, here's
or a stage.
Here I am unironically right now expecting a Diablo 4 trailer to come out within the next 15 hours.
Like, will they straight up be like, and then saw both sides coming?
There is there. I'm telling you right now, by tomorrow there will be a Diablo thing announced. I swear to God.
Oh, God damn it. You have to... Then you know what, guys? It just save up a third, just in case, right? The first might fail, so might the second, and then you just gotta be fucking Sendo, just on your knees, just sliding from the blind spot, right? Prepare a salvo. They can't counter all of it. They have to run out of announcement ammunition eventually. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's the most blatant, unbelievable, just absolute PR deflection. And you know what? It probably always mitigates the damage, right?
No, don't think that's what's happening. I don't think anyone doesn't know that would... So, like, the people that would see this, they have to at least be following it somewhere, to some degree.
But that's what I'm getting at, right? Like, anyone who follows video game news is going to catch wind, but anyone who's not is just going to catch that Twitter update, and then that can drown out some of the noise no matter what, right? There's a and then there's that line of like where people that are, you know, just more casual, and then people who are like following industry shit, like starts to intersect, and like the announcement will always push a little bit into that space.
Yeah, you're probably right. That being said, what I think is actually happening is that the people that there's a cross section of people that are like, I don't even care anymore. Right? Like, there's only so much more evil Activision Blizzard can get. Right? And it's like people that have already decided to buy Diablo 4, like nothing's going to stop them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm going to get Diablo 4. I probably will.
I'm thinking, like, if you run out of character announcements and stages, you can start updating profiles and bios like Soldier 76, or you can just start dropping like, here comes Doomfist, full on African outfit with the kufi on, right? He just like let's just like there's always ways to go back over what you've got and find a new shield, actually. So it's a hard battle. It's a hard battle. Yeah. Brother Fist.
It's
absolutely.
It's so gross and performative. Like, I'm not in any of the diverse groups that this would apply to, but let's say I was Pan and I see the Overwatch character be, hey, look, Pan, don't look at the lawsuit. I'm like, I'd be so grossed out.
And now you're also creating a Pavlovian response where if they just happen to announce a character regularly, well, now you got to go digging and go, wait, well, what happened? What got announced? Who found what now? You know?
Did they find the bodies?
They might have found the bodies, or worse, the dungeon. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of amazing. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, anyway.
Oh yeah, people in the chat are mentioning Symmetra being announced as autistic was like gross to people. Some of the people in the chat are mentioning it. Just like, you just wrote that down. You just wrote it down. It wasn't like that, and then you just decided to go back to the calculator and checked an extra box.
Yeah, you see, we thought that the diversity chart score was actually just a diversity chart score, when it turned out it's the strength of the defense. Yeah. it's the shield power. It has a direct application into defense stats. It's a modifier.
We're watching a company in real time try and figure out what is the most disingenuous way you can support inclusion and diversity to like deflect bad behavior. We're watching them like pull the knobs and tweak the chemical reaction
to
and
hit
just, like,
diversity class 0.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh, fuck. It's the only way. You gotta roll it. You gotta roll your Thado. No, Thadco. You have to roll Thudco. Oh, Blizzard. Let's go. Beautiful.
This reminds me of, like, there's an old drill tweet of like me in front of a crowd pulling a big lever that says racism and looking back and forth to the crowd
and slowly turning the knob.
And it's like it's just a dial, like it's 5 dials, and it's like gay, autism, foreign, like it's all the different
all
fucking
the points,
things, and they're
everyone.
Just like, oh. What if we pull this one all the way?
Oh God, yeah. And as the newspaper starts pulling up, and as the people start getting distracted because they're getting updates on their phones, you're just like, oh, crank it to the max.
Crank it.
All right. That's good. That's good. That's always always a fun way to go.
Yeah, somebody just sent it to me, turning a big dial that says racism on it and constantly looking back at the audience for approval like a contestant on The Price is Right.
Poor Drew Carey. All right. Well, anyways, beyond that, what else is going on? E3 is never coming back.
No, it's dead. It's been dead since before I ever went.
Well, so it's been dead. Yes, there was the pre-death that was the E for All era, right? But then it died again, and 2019 was the last time. But companies all started canceling. They started moving their shows around to be on their own schedules that makes sense for them. And then with pandemic, like with the quarantine, a bunch of studios just shifted over to like working from home schedules, and all that means you don't have the regular dev cycle where you can just gear up for, or you have to gear up for a big E3 summer show or whatever the case is. So yeah, I mean, the actual news story is E3 2023 has been canceled.
No shit.
But I'm just looking at this like it's been gone since 2019. It probably ain't coming back, and if it does, it'll again just be a shell of what it ever was, because I think not all the major studios that are not showing up are kind of realizing that they don't need to, and that they can run their own events, and that kind of works better for them.
I think that so I went to E3 in 2012, right? And that was 11 years ago, and it was already terrible then. Because I'm walking around and we're trying to get, bits for videos, and we're trying to talk to people at Capcom, and we got an interview with Christian Svensson at the time, and we're doing all this stuff. And I'm looking around and I'm looking at people walking up to like stand in line for merch and just like play the demos. And I'm like, all you motherfuckers scammed your way in, and you're not here to work. You're treating it like a fucking convention. You're treating it like a fun show to go to on the weekend, and you're getting in everybody's fucking way. And I'm saying that as somebody who went there after having Machinima like scam our way in, but we were there to actually record things and talk to people and interview people. And that was 2012.
Well,
then either all happened. I can't even imagine how horrible that was.
I mean, dude, what you're describing is the reason why PAX exists, right? PAX is for people to be able to go play these things and experience the trade show presentations and such, and not just the industry. And that's taken off. That's been pretty successful. And clearly, any game that wants to get a spotlight can still jump on one of those, can jump on their own personal direct, or they can do different things. Like, for example, coming up in about 2 weeks is the Indie Fighting Game Fest, which I'm going to be doing something for. I'm not quite sure what yet, but you can just
probably play a fighting game.
Probably. But like you can have your Nintendo Direct if you're a big company. You can have your Sony show, State of Play, or you have, things like the Devolver event and so on. Getting small, the UB always does their own thing, yada yada. But even smaller indies can get together and do these things too. So like different projects have different needs and are ready to show off, things on their own schedule. I see no downside to letting E3 die and just letting the year be littered with things that allow developers to go at their own pace. There's no downside to this.
Yeah, E3 made a lot more sense when you had to get print media. The pivot to internet has made the dominance of print media for video games totally pointless. Like, it made a lot of sense back in 2001, and you want people to write. No, not 2001, 1999. Whatever year the Metal Gear Solid 2 trailer was running for hours and hours and hours. And you can get everybody in, and they could write about how unbelievable Metal Gear Solid 2 looks. But you need everyone in the building to see it, because you can't send it to them over the internet. The file's too big. You'd have to mail it out, and you don't want to do that. Blah blah blah. Now that you can just live stream fucking AG Aonuma talking for 13 minutes about how you're going to put a stick on your rock in the Zelda, you don't need E3. You don't need it.
Yeah, and again, like as I said, like you pick and choose, and like E3's canceled, but depending on the genre, so what's a much better venue for certain game announcements? Evo Japan, which is happening, and a bunch of like fighting game news came out of that. Like, there's always just something that you can pick that is better suited. So, rip and piss, that's that. And
I only heard one thing about Evo Japan, and that was about a competitor named Punk complaining about the laggy monitors and holding up top 8 for a half hour because of it.
Yeah.
Only to get fucking rinsed out.
Yeah,
instantly.
That's on brand. If you know Punk, you know what you're getting into. That's par for the course. So, that's the way it go. But
even if he was right, you have to win. You can't delay the tournament and then lose.
Again, anyone who's been paying attention for the last couple of years knows the deal. There's always going to be a story when it comes to Punk. Yep. They did announce some stuff, though, right? For example, they've been announcing a bunch of Tekken characters, and they just dropped at Evo Japan the trailer for Leroy and Asuka.
I didn't see the Asuka one.
Yeah, so that's the thing is, like, I cut a lot of the returning cast. I mean, so far it's all returning cast. I was kind of like, oh yeah, okay, looks cool. King looked pretty fucking sick. That was nice, King looking awesome. But it was really fun to see them jumping to like a new DLC character to be like, oh shit, like here is someone from way at the other end of the release spectrum.
Yeah, Leroy's technically returning, but he's brand new as far as compared to like Kazuya and King and
exactly. Yeah, so that's cool. Happy to see he's in there, and he's the godfather of drip, just absolutely grandmaster of drip, just killing it. Sugar in tow. And Asuka is interesting because this is
she's got her bicycle. Yay.
But this is now the equivalent of her Sakura grown-up outfit, where she's now out of school. She's no longer a student. She's 18 at this, so I guess she has a job or so. So she's wearing that kind of little snazzy police guard looking thing. Not too sure.
She looks like Marie from the Persona because of her hat.
She's got a little badge too as well. It's a cute outfit. It's not my favorite, but it's cute. I'd like to see some of her alts and see what she gets for that. But I do appreciate at least the passage of time. That's all right.
Tekken needs to do another 20-year time skip.
So they only did that between 2 and 3, right?
Yeah.
Like, they jumped 19 years, and then after that, everything was like a couple of months apart.
Yeah, a couple months.
I think there was like 2 years between maybe like 5 and 6, but everything else has been like, and then a little bit later, and then a few weeks later, yada yada.
So, Woolie, what do you think the possibility on is at a percentage, like 0 to 100%, that the final character announced for Tekken 8 before DLC is going to be Heihachi Mishima?
There are already a number of people who are begging for a flashback sequence in the story mode so that he can be on the roster.
Yeah.
And just let him be a dream state. And they were not... This is a canon entry, though. And remember, it's the return of Jun Kazama.
Yeah.
Who's totally not...
He was dead.
Never mind the fact that we saw her in the 2 tag tournament matches before that, or unknown.
That doesn't count.
No. Yeah, there could... Honestly, I could see there being some sort of, like... in the way that like Asuka comes on as a like not quite a protagonist, but still a new, Kazama representation thing. They could do like a Heihachi spiritual alt new character, because we haven't seen any new characters at all. It's just the returning crew so far, and there's probably going to be someone plot related that they can drop in there to be like, I don't know, whatever. Heihachi had a cousin.
You know what they do? You know what they'll do? I'm telling you right now. Remember how Kazuya got horribly burned in that volcano and died?
Sure.
And then they just use a little bit of scientists.
Not really, but yeah.
To just make him better.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going to pull... Heihachi will come out and be like, yeah, they got better. And then he'll have a little burn mark on one of his arms.
You could do that. You could do that. You could get Lars' mom and just go like, yo, like, Lars is doing his thing, but like Heihachi was super like interested because she was a good fighter and he taught her his moves, and now that's why he banged her. So bam, we got Mama Alexanderson.
Like here's the thing, right? They literally already did a whole game in which the tagline was Heihachi Mishima is dead.
Yes.
And then he was part of the base roster.
Okay, how about this? He comes back and he's got shades and purple hair and his name is Violet.
Sure, fuck it. Fuck it.
What are you talking about? It's just me, Violet.
I understand that sometimes you want to do a story in your fighting game, and that's cool. However, in terms of that affecting the character roster, fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
No one cares.
Here's what I would do. If it were me, if I were Harada, I would make it so that Heihachi is not in the game.
Right.
And then I would make it so that there's a percentage chance that if you pick Mokujin might have Heihachi's fighting style.
I saw somebody in the chat say that he should possess Kuma as a ghost.
No, but Kuma needs Kuma's moves.
No, because Panda also has Kuma's moves. So you can have Heihachi Kuma and then Panda.
No. You need a role, and your Mokujin might be Heihachi. That's the way you get him in there. Good luck. The Mokujin remembers the soul of the dead. Mm-hmm. So we got a little bit of that going on. And then, of course, some other fighting game news. We got a announcement. King of Fighters 13 global match announced for PS4 and Switch. So KOF 13 also getting rollback.
Hooray!
And then there was one. Now there's only one left.
Mm-hmm.
King of Fighters Neo Wave.
Oh,
for the Atomic Wave system.
No one. Come on.
11, my fucking favorite. 11
Oh.
is the only one missing.
Oh,
And it's the one I want the most.
probably because it's the best King of Fighters game.
Shit
Probably
played like
it's the best one.
it played like Marvel. It was amazing.
It really was.
Yeah, and it's been
Shittiest
ignored.
interface I've ever seen in a fighting game. The worst. But boy, it was fun to shoot the gun with Oswald.
I really hope they give it some love, before it's forgotten forever. And while you're at it, if you're going to bring back 13, like, we all want to forget that 12 exists. But,
yeah, we do.
But just grab the backgrounds, because there was some crazy, wild, fun backgrounds from that game. There's also some rough ones. there's some really rough ones.
There's one I'm thinking of right now.
Yeah, you were all thinking of that one. That one's,
that one's
hey, all right, save that for the RE5 remake. But but there's some nice ones that need to be pulled out of 12, because we don't need 12 back, but save the art, Yeah. I that's what would be ideal. Do that, and then you bring 11 out, and then we're square. We're good. They also announced the new Fatal Fury Garou game is development continues furiously, and they confirmed Rock Howard, Terry Bogard, Andy Bogard, and Joe Higashi.
Wow. I can't believe.
Yeah. But at the same time, they've never been like Rock has never been in a game with Andy and like like they've never been the full classic trio and the new as well, because Andy was gone from Mark of the Wolves and CVS had Joe, but like the fact that it's the original trio and the new era means we get to see them fast forwarded. And there's a little in the artwork you can see Andy's wearing like a kind of like a proper like suit outfit. And Joe is wearing the outfit that his broken arm sprite in Mark of the Wolves 2 had. So they're keeping that idea. So yeah, we're digging now. We're digging. But Mark of the Wolves 2, which never came out, was data mined, and someone found a disc and they had a bunch of sprites from it. And then they found a sprite of Joe Higashi who was going to be like all busted up, but he's got a student that he's teaching how to fight. And that design is kind of what we're seeing in the artwork for this new game. So they're still kind of carrying some of that forward. I wonder if it's actually going to pick up where the story left off. It'll be interesting. But yeah, new Mark of the Wolves. Garou or so on the way. And then in fighting game news, we also just caught that Legendary has acquired the live action film and TV rights to Street Fighter.
Yay! Yay, new Street Fighter live action movie. Yay! Yay! Woo!
I know.
Huzzah!
I know we live in a time where adaptations are doing really well and they're getting better. But I just like I would like whatever efforts those are, put them into the story of I hope the story of 6 is not just the most nothing in the world. Like I
bet it is.
It's going to be, but it would be such a nice surprise if it were not. And now we're gonna take a crack at it again.
Games, man.
I don't know that Legendary can make it work. I don't. There's nothing there that makes me go, yeah, they're the ones.
I don't think it can be made to work.
I think it can, but it's hard.
I think you're nuts.
I think it's hard and probably not worth it. Because you got to kind of get somebody with like a fucking visionary idea that is probably a huge departure from what Street Fighter actually is to make something wild and cool out of it. That would be like, oh, we're doing something new and ridiculous. Like I don't. Do you know what I mean? Like you can do like someone can be like, yo, I want to do some wild shit. Like, for example, like Dredge was a great movie, but it didn't have to be about Dredge because it could also just clearly be the raid.
Yeah.
Like something like you can just like you can have a really cool concept for a thing and it can be Street Fighter. But
what's the fucking point of fucking that?
Nothing. Brand, money, go buy it. It says Street Fighter on it. I don't need this to exist. I don't need it. But here we are.
Oh, it's gonna be trash, dude.
But Capcom makes bank on fucking every live action thing they do, right?
They sure do.
Like they made money off of the Van Damme movie for decades. That funded a bunch of their shit, and I bet you somewhere that Kristen Krug movie must have scraped together enough bargain bin Walmart sales to like it cost like $20 to make, so they must have broken even at some point. I don't know. They were Capcom. We know firsthand that the old Van Damme movie, as goofy and as much of a joke as that is, made them so much money that it was worth it to re-enter into this market. They made a ton in residuals after the fact that they did not expect that to pay off for them. So they were extremely happy with that. I guess it could have been worse. They could have handed it off to Paul.
No, they should have. They should have given it to Paul.
Just hand it off to Paul.
Yeah.
And added into the Monster Hunter Resident Evil Milia verse.
This is Mila Jovovich Ryu. Her father was a great warrior. She wears his headband.
Actually, her name is just Milia, and she wears a white gi and has a red headband.
Yeah. And her friend Ken is there.
Yep.
So bad. Oh my
Yep.
god. Oh.
Anyways, keep my wife employed. Well, that's one adaptation announcement, but there were others. For example, fucking Edgar Wright said we're doing the Scott Pilgrim anime, and the entire cast from the live action film is back together for it.
I saw somebody talking about this on social media, and I have to agree. In order to do Scott Pilgrim in its entirety, you would have to do an anime because all of the locations in Scott Pilgrim are gone.
They don't exist anymore. They're completely gone.
Every single location that takes place in Scott Pilgrim's book is gone.
Anything cool about Toronto has been condoified. So, yeah. No, they're completely... but this is awesome. They're doing it, and I'm... Like, getting the cast back together is a particularly a fun touch to it. I'm surprised Edgar Wright would be like, yeah, I'm down to revisit and do
it's strange.
this. But it turns out that they've been trying... He's been doing, like, charity reads, and they've been doing stuff off screen for a while now, for years. Like, I haven't been paying attention, but he's been talking about it a bunch and, like, really, really loves it and wants to do more. So this is awesome because it's like the live action was really fun. The cast was great. Obviously, the original is fantastic too. Putting those together and we're getting like that over the style of the Brian Lee O'Malley stuff is going to be like dope as fuck. So, obviously, the movie... adapted and summarized a lot of the content.
Yeah, it skipped a couple things.
But yeah, if you're going for a full adaptation in animated form, you can do way more, So that's coming to Netflix, and fuck, man, that's I would not have expected that, but here we are. It's interesting too because I wonder if like Brian Lee O'Malley is kind of like, hey, I made other stuff. Like
no one gives a fuck, Brian.
There's Lost at Sea over here if anybody wants it. Yeah. But this is fantastic. This is cool.
Just fucking milk it. Just milk the shit out of it forever.
And you know what? Just go back and get Anna Managuchi on the soundtrack for the movie too.
Which they did. That's part of the confirmation.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah.
For the movie? For rather for the TV, for the anime?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
New music for it.
Holy shit! Yeah, okay. Well, fuck. I missed that.
I thought you were doing a joke just now.
No, I had no idea. I was just saying, oh yeah, that would be super fun to get the amazing soundtrack from the game and get them to fucking wow, perfect, done. That's it. Then I have nothing else to say. Wait for it to exist. That's great. That's really cool.
I'm a big fan of this style of revelation of like, you know what they should do? This. They're already doing that. Oh, they are? Yes! I have the good idea. Congrats, Woolie. Your idea was the correct idea.
Time to just sit here and wait then. We're good. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Good stuff. And then, just a little bit before we went live, the trailer for Blue Beetle dropped. And I'm bringing this up because there's some shit in here worth checking out. So Blue Beetle has always been a fan favorite, one of the goofy, fun characters that I remember back in the day. Like my friend would send me panels and show me pages and stuff of just like these great moments because the previous Blue Beetle was like just a fanboy of the Justice League and like had these funny little quips and things, and Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, would always be like these little punchlines. But the fucking movie trailer just dropped, and it's it's basically like saying, what if we did our DC superhero thing, but we're just doing Toku? And the last shot of the trailer is he summons a Buster Sword, slides it on the ground, creating sparks, kicks it, flips it up, and then holds it forward, and you're like, oh shit, they're doing Toku action.
I
And there's
feel like the whole trailer and everyone's reaction is based off of that one shot, because the rest of that looks awful.
There's one other shot. There's one other shot where he does the mid-air to the wall sidekick on the guy dismissively. That's another kind of like, you know, what the fuck am I thinking of? Garou-esque, right? Just bam and keep walking. So there's two shots. There's two. Here's what we're probably gonna get. We're probably gonna get, George Lopez is there. It's gonna do its thing. We're gonna get the story of the PR, Blue Beetle, and it'll be completely meh, but the action will be sick as fuck. I'm anticipating. If the choreography is being done by someone who understands the sword scrape kick into pose with the Buster Sword, the choreography is probably going to be hot shit. So this is what we're going for. Tune in for the fight, hoping all is well.
I'm looking at this clip of him doing the sword move, and he's in the empty warehouse that the Toku characters fight in.
Yeah, exactly.
The weird empty CG warehouse.
And now they gotta kick them out of that into the empty open field in the industrial area of Yokohama, you know, and then that's it. That's the only way for this to go. The fights need to just kind of take place in isolated, desolate Japan. Get to the quarry, even. Yeah, sure. Absolutely, man. I would love if this movie was secretly just a Toku thing, and if you know, then you know. But in the meantime, hey, new DC movie, but there's a whole side thing going on that's just a fun extra dynamic to it.
All right, so Woolie, as somebody who doesn't particularly read comics and is barely familiar with Blue Beetle, the only things I know about Blue Beetle is that he hangs out with massive loser Booster Gold.
Yeah, I can't, don't look to me for answers. I can't give you many, but
I'm just like, why is Blue Spider-Man, Blue Spider Iron Man make people so excited? I don't understand.
Kajida, the Beetle is it has selected him, and it sometimes takes control, but
People
this is
are
a
saying
different
wrong Blue Beetle. Do you guys think I give a shit which Blue Beetle I'm talking about?
The previous one. This is the new guy. The new PR kid is not the same. No, the fanboy I was talking about, is the one from before. Anyway, whatever. It's like Green Lanterns where there's different mantles and yada yada. But
yeah,
but I can't give you any proper fucking info because all my shit is, you know, a second party as well to like someone who's just telling me about the fun stuff with that. So yeah, but and then the first one was like just like a cop or something, like. Mm-hmm. It was from way back. So anyway, young, dumb, fucking superhero energy. But I say tune in and see if we get anything half resembling Karas. You know? At the very least, check out the last like minute of the trailer to see what I'm talking about.
What do you mean? Woolie, the trailer's 3 minutes long. If they're gonna watch the last minute of it, why not just watch the whole? It's not like the 10-minute long fucking trailer.
Yeah, I'm specifying the part that I find cool is because the last minute is essentially just the last shot and then a bunch of like bullshit at the end.
Yeah.
So you got to go to like the 2:15 mark or so.
I don't know. I see this Blue Beetle man, and aside from the cool sword move, I feel literally nothing.
That's fine. That's okay. Just maybe the cut, maybe the fight scene cut compilation will be hot shit.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see.
Don't understand Blue Beetle.
It's but no, if Blue Beetle's a fan favorite, like it's just again goofy. Well, previously
that
anyway.
Means in this context.
Goofy fanboy that was kind of Deadpoolish in that like being a fan of the characters of the Justice League and
Okay.
stuff meant that he would like be like meta about stuff and be kind of more of a funny thing than like a dead serious thing. Yeah. Is my
I'm gonna shrug.
no?
I'm gonna shrug at Blue Beetle.
Then I was told wrong. I'm sorry. If that's not right, then I was told wrong. I'm sorry. I'm relaying incorrect information. My mistake. I'm sorry. I can only talk about what I kind of peripherally heard. I'm the wrong person for this information. Never mind. I'm going to stop talking. Leave me alone. We're done. Stop talking about it. Movie
Blue
over.
Beetle looks stupid. I can tell you that is the
Great.
truth right
Next
now.
topic. Done. What else is going on?
I don't know.
Vince McMahon is back, and he has shown up with a weird mustache, and he's announced because WWE has been sold, technically not sold but acquired.
Whatever.
By
it's
Endeavor.
UFC now. Endeavor,
the number 2 hero of Japan, has acquired the WWE. Yeah, so Endeavor, I was like, who the fuck is that? It's the parent company of UFC, and apparently they've basically merged so that they have a 51% controlling interest in the company. It was the valuation of the deal is $21 billion. The deal was 9.3, and you know what? I don't know what the fuck this leads to, but if Vince can slink back into the shadows,
so supposedly what this leads to is they were trying to sell it, and they shot down every single offer from anyone that included the criteria of Vince has to go away, though. So Vince will not be sliding back into the shadows. Vince will be consolidating power again.
Okay. So everyone who wanted it, but wanted him gone, was not allowed. I see.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, he went away for, what was it, months?
Yeah, because of the crimes.
Yeah, I want to say it was less than a year, right?
Yeah, no, it was not very long.
And I want to say as well that people immediately started going, holy shit, WWE is so good now, for a second there. But yeah, wow. All right. There you go. I mean, I think a lot of people expected it would have been Saudi Arabia. It wasn't at the end of the day. But you have to wonder if there was a, like, no, we got to get rid of Vince clause in that situation too. Either way.
Saudis wouldn't have wanted Vince around.
That's basically what I'm wondering. Yeah. So parent company of UFC. So now whenever Undertaker sits in the audience and talks shit, it can be actually part of a bit this time. It doesn't have to be unscripted, you know? It can be a weird interaction that just confuses everybody, but it can be used and promo on Raw or SmackDown.
Vince is gonna like die in some kind of calamitous event that is totally his fault. Like, I'm seeing him like some kind of safety malfunction at an event, like decapitates every single person in the front row at a wrestling show, including Vince. And it just comes out he was just going, you don't need the safety. I don't have time for this.
He's going to feel a sneeze coming on, and he's going to choose to just die instead of let it out. Yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty much the deal. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I did just want to mention as well that Indie Fighting Game Fest is coming up April 13th. Cool thing to promote. Fucking 40 plus, well, however many tons and tons and tons of indie fighting games. All that bullshit, all the random indies that I've been playing on Get Into Fighting Games over the last couple of years are going to be there, and some new stuff as well. So They're going to have some streaming things. And I signed up. I don't quite know what I signed up for. I have to be honest. I got an email or two. I've been busy. I don't know what I signed up for, but I'm obviously down to promote indie fighting games. And again, about almost everything on that list I've already done an episode for, but something's coming up.
Where can I go look up the indie fighting? What's it called?
Hashtag Indie Fighting Game Fest on Twitter. Should link right to it.
At Indie Fighting Games. Okay, here we go. I want to see the list on this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a paste bin? Come on.
There's an image with all the logos here. So yeah, Punch Planet, Murfight, Head to Head, Schwarzenblitz, Yomi Hustle, Your Only Move is Hustle, Footsies, Two Strikes, Dash Walk, Combo Babies, Vita Fighters, Fly Punch Boom, The Black Heart, Yomi, Buck Up and Drive, Breakers Revenge, Fight and Jokes. Like, it's all there. Terrordrome, Mega Knockdown, Resistance 2040X. It's all there. It's all there, you know. Just, we're going to be fucking, yeah, we're going in. And this is the short list, too. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Yeah, wanted to bring some attention to that. And they're going to have some discounts and demos and previews and stuff as well for, like, if you want to get in on any of the games and stuff, they'll be cheaper during that period of time as well. April 13th to 17. Cool. All right. Shoutouts Volta Base, aka Volta, who just made an awesome animated video for Jonathan Young.
Oh yeah, ridiculous! Holy
Starship
shit.
Velociraptor.
Volta, that's like the most animation.
Yeah, Volta is just reaching for like the fucking heavens and has conquered them. Like it's just he's literally just taken off in a way that is like, oh yeah, that talent will not be bridled in any way, shape, or form. The problem is that when I see this type of quality output, I know that like he took life damage to make it.
Yeah, probably, or just spent like an entire year on it.
But nonetheless, go check out the latest Starship Velociraptor music video by Volta. Incredible. All right, take some letters.
Hey, if you want to send in a letter, hopefully a good letter, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. Hey, before we get into that letter, there was something I forgot to talk about. You remember the Victrix Pro controller?
Mm-hmm.
So I had originally ordered it from videogamesplus.ca because they said, "Hey, we got them in stock and we're gonna send them out." And that was on February 20th, and it's now March 31st. Sorry, April 3rd. After like 2 full delays, I write them and go, "Hey, is this ever coming out, dude?" And they go, "We are still waiting for a shipping update from PDP. We have no ETA on these items." And of course, on the website, it says refunds for this reorder will only be given in store credit in giant red.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, you know, when you're getting ready and you're like, I'm about to have an interaction with someone and get pissed off. Because in my heart, I'm like, well, in the red, it says, yeah, you only accept store credit for this. But you also said it would come out on March 1st and then March 31st. So I was like, hey, can I get a refund? And they went, okay. And then they refunded me the whole amount within 10 minutes.
Okay.
So, hey, Video Games Plus CA will absolutely refund your shit if something falls through, no matter what they say on their website. So, hey, thumbs up.
Nice.
Great.
That's good.
I'm now going to go order it from the PDP website, in which it is just in stock. And I am now confused as to what the problem with this thing elsewhere is.
Yeah, no, this is the BFG Pro. Yeah, I loaned mine to Test Your Luck, and he's gonna take a crack at it, and we'll see if I think we made a deal that if he wins Evo, he gets the Nago Ryuki mask that I have. So
oh yeah,
we will see.
But he's got to win Evo.
He's got to win Evo.
What do you get if he doesn't win Evo?
Yeah, there's no lose condition. He doesn't get the mask. I feel like
this is you really fucked the dog on this bet because he's probably not going to win Evo. That's hard.
It is pretty hard, but he did get top 16 before. So
yeah, I know, but it's hard.
It's very hard. It's very hard. Yes. I mean, there's always okay. So without prompt, when Reggie enters at UMAD and WeMad and stuff, and enters tournaments, he enters as WV Chester, and I'm like, who the fuck told you to go in? Sponsored by Woolie Versus. What the shit?
Well, you're sponsoring him.
This was not discussed or agreed upon, but he enters as WV. Like, even I don't do that. I just go
was really funny.
I just go as Woolie. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
Your email may sound something like this.
Hunter asks, Dear Beast Lords, I just beat Sekiro for the first time last night, and I had a great time with the game. Feel like I didn't use the Shinobi prosthetics that much on my playthrough due to them needing spirit emblems. I always found that I ran out, and if I ran out on boss attempts, I just stopped using them altogether. It made me wish that maybe the prosthetics were on a cooldown so that I didn't have to farm them. Otherwise, you wouldn't get to do the cool-ass combos. Otherwise, you wouldn't get to do the cool-ass combos with them if they were on a cooldown. I guess my question is, would you prefer something like the Shinobi prosthetics to be on a cooldown, or as a consumable that you can farm?
There's absolutely no reason for either of those at all. The spirit emblem thing in Sekiro sucks so much shit.
Yeah,
and
it does.
And they're not good enough that you need to have any cooldown on them at all.
So it feels as if they, like, stamina should be the cost, but there's no stamina. Therefore, we had to invent another cost, right? And it feels like it was, like, kind of fitted in, like, retroactively, or like just maybe not retroactively, but it feels like it was like, we need some kind of thing to slow you down on this. But a consumable that you have to farm sucks, because then you're just going to stop the game to go farm that. So you're just wasting time, really. You know, I don't think I don't want action games to have to account for fucking grind time, you know, especially when all you're going to do in a game like that is go to the one spot, load up, jump off the thing, take out the stealth guys, and then do it again for 2 hours, right? Like, you just go to a farm spot, and that's not a fun thing to do in video games. So
blood vials and spirit emblems are massive fucking mistakes.
Yeah. I have no problem, like, if you don't want a cooldown, I have no problem with limited number per sit. That's okay to me too.
Anything, literally anything other than the system they have. It's terrible.
Yeah, I think you just, like, you know, the cooldown would be a better than consumable option, but best would be if you need to limit it in some way. Because well, one, make them strong enough that, like, the limitation is worth it, but two, limited number per sit. Every time you use them, you're gone, but you have a number, and then you can perhaps get them back in the same way that you can do, like, Shinobi executions and get your revive back. You know, perhaps you can restock on your Shinobi mechanics every time you get back a revive.
Sekiro's everything to do with Sekiro's items is the worst part of Sekiro. So the spirit emblems for that is terrible. All the consumable items are like think of all the candies you get. But by far the worst was the divine confetti, where you get a limited amount of divine confetti, and then you'd have to use up a divine confetti to even attempt a boss, and then you would die, and you're like, great, I can't even attempt that boss anymore because I don't have any more divine confetti. But, like, I was replaying it a little bit a few weeks ago, and I'm like, why the fuck do I have to hold a button down to have money flow into my character? Like, it is totally baffling. Like, why does the money not just fly into my character like souls do? It's so stupid.
It was especially frustrating when because that was a game where, like, the design doesn't call for it. It's just not what the game's about. But I really, especially early on, hoped that there would be other weapon choices. So, you know, as a game that's designed to be like, no, this is a sword game, and then you have a couple extra weapons, I was like, well, now I really want those weapons and their movesets to be interesting. And, like, I was putting a lot of hope into that stuff, you know, and then it gets kind of kneecapped in this way. So, yeah, you know, it's one of those things where I'm like, they could have done that way better. But that's Sekiro, right? Anyway, I know a lot of people feel differently, but we got one coming in from Mark. Says, "Dear Hi-Fi Woolie and Pat Rush."
So.
Okay, so the TLDR is a friend says that AAA companies shouldn't make smaller indie games because it hurts the indie scene. And I said that AAA studios should be able to make whatever games they want to make.
Your friend's an idiot.
I recently got into an argument with a friend about AAA companies making smaller scale games like 2D side scrollers, and how they should not be allowed because it encroaches on the indie scene, making it harder for indie games to get out the door.
What's the cutoff point, dude?
My counter argument was that we'd never get games like Rayman Origins, Legends, Pac-Man Championship Edition, Metroid Dread, etc., etc. These games were made because of how much the indie scene popped off during the 2010s, catching the attention of bigger companies, showing them the value of smaller scale projects. If AAA only made big budget 3D games, I argued the indie scene wouldn't really be better off, as most people would stick to what they know and rarely explore other gaming experiences. His only good rebuttal was that the comparison aspect of the gaming industry is heavily skewed in favor of large companies, thus making anything remotely close to an indie game that would only do more harm to the indie scene.
So your friend is so stupid.
And while I agree the companies have a huge advantage over any indie project, it doesn't mean their existence is actively hurting the scene, unless they decide to wage war against it. The whole argument started because I said it would be nice if AAA studios were allowed to make more interesting games that aren't huge in scope and budget more often. What do you think of this little squabble? I mean, it is ridiculous to stand there and say that things should not exist just because based on the idea that the scene would get affected in that way. Let the fucking good games exist. That's so crazy.
Stupid.
That's crazy, man.
I want to grab this person and like show them 15 different games and be like, which ones of these are indie games?
Yeah. What about XIII? Right?
Hades. Is that an indie game?
What about the studios that make small games that then blow up and get successful off of them, and then make larger games that are questionably indie at that point? You know, and then what about the bigger studios that make smaller games that are able to like use the scale of that game to take an otherwise beloved but dead IP and use it, you know, something they would never invest a massive AAA budget in fucking Strider, you know, but they would give it a shot as a small side scroller. You know,
you're right. You can have some really cool indie games like The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. No,
I think a good indie game. I like that indie game.
Like the idea of drawing an arbitrary line in the sand to protect the scene when the whole thing is just a big fucking fluid mess of different scale companies that get bigger and smaller and yada. Like, that's ridiculous, man. That's silly. And furthermore, in a lot of cases, there will be a small studio that gets picked up by a larger publisher to make something that is an IP within, you know, a larger company, but on a smaller scale because this team can do it.
Okay, so it's extra hilarious because indie specifically in the versions of games means a self-published game, that the developer is publishing it themselves. They don't have to go to a different developer. So Witcher 3, one of the most expensive RPGs ever, indie game. Hi-Fi Rush,
AAA.
Made by a small team but technically owned by Microsoft, big budget AAA. Shut up. It's totally pointless. The only signifier of indie nowadays is budget. And when people say indie, they usually mean small game.
Yeah, no, indie kind of exactly is just small game. But III, as we said, is, even though no one's really saying that, there's the idea of like, there are indie games that are massive, huge budgets that like self-published nonetheless, but still like make the scope questionable. Not everything is Shovel Knight anymore, you know? I
think the indie scene is really gonna be under threat by the massive publishing arm that made the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, which is technically a non-indie game, despite being made by a bunch of fans, because it's technically published by Sega.
Also, just calling for things to not exist, like just on a broad scale, like no, things should not like that's such a crazy.
You
fucking
remember
take.
when you remember when Ubisoft put out Rayman Origins and Child of Light, and that killed the indie game scene?
Anyway,
do you remember that?
I think Mark here wrote in knowing exactly what would happen.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's the best type. Hey, I know that any normal person would think that the person I'm having an argument with is a fucking moron. But can you confirm that for me?
You want to straighten this out? Yeah, no problem. All right. We got one coming in from Wesley who says, Dear Dread Beast and Red Beast, in Star Trek Picard, we meet Jack, a young man with a tragic past that makes it hard for him to trust people. He also has the ability to make his eyes glow red and force someone to copy his actions. Just wanted to let you know where Sasuke ran off to. Can you confirm?
No.
That Sasuke is in...
I cannot.
Star Trek Picard?
I can and will not. Star Trek has a really definitive stop watching date. And that is the end of Deep Space Nine. Just give up. Unless you like trash. If you like fucking trash, you go watch some Voyager episodes. That's some trash. But then you get into just like hot garbage.
That's unfortunate.
People saying Voyager is okay, you are wrong unless you like trash.
All right. And let's take one here from Mitch, who says, Dear Woolie, who can't bend his knees, and Pat, who swears this will be the last time he kneels, but for real this time.
I don't understand that at all.
Of course you don't understand
at all.
That makes no sense. Please explain to me why George Lucas is a money-hungry hack for every Star Wars director's recut that he released and told the same story with, if not for a few slightly different scenes and better effects. Now explain why RE4, FF7, Modern Warfare 2, etc. are good creative decisions by game companies. Yeah, I get it's your job to play games, but were you aware that on last week's episode of the podcast, Paul Marketing got you so high on nostalgia that you were actually excited and hyping up a release or a re-release of an absolute turd of a game, Resident Evil 5? Anyway, enough being salty, I guess. My question is, what dead or forgotten franchise would you want to see brought back in the form of a remake instead of a brand new title?
So I'd like to answer the first question. And so I completely understand their point. So I completely understand their point. And there is some merit to it in that George Lucas did get a lot of shit for constantly re-releasing things. And you've got like Red Letter Media and people like us who are like, man, what a money-hungry shitbag, idiot, moron, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, we're fawning over remakes of games that came out 20 years ago. There's a few distinctions to be made. George Lucas took steps to actively destroy the original versions of those films. RE4 continues to exist, and Capcom will sell it to you gladly. There's no attempt to make it so that you can't play original RE4. Meanwhile, George Lucas would release new versions of his movies, go, yeah, those old ones are terrible, and do everything in his power to stop the old ones from being sold or existing at all. So that's one.
See, if the stuff that was done to the re-release didn't make it shittier, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. But it's the part where it's shittier and has dumb things in it that makes it worse.
So
right?
Like people point out, Warcraft 3 Original
good is good.
Like Warcraft 3 Original no longer exists. Warcraft 3 Reforged is much worse. That's a problem, right? On top of that, one of the reasons why people are easy to dunk on George Lucas is that he made the prequel Star Wars movies, which are some of the worst movies I've ever seen in the theater. Meanwhile, the Resident Evil 4 remake is stellar and is possibly a game of the year. And that would be the case even if original RE4 didn't exist, because it's not that it's nostalgia, it's that it's excellent.
Now, RE4 as well is in a different camp entirely from something like FF7, which is more than just a remake, clearly, because it's a whole fucking reimagining of what that game is and could be. All of which I'm super open for, because I don't think that Star Wars, once the original trilogy existed, should have stopped, closed shop, and ended it. I have no problem with new Star Wars and new things existing in that world. You want them to be things of quality, right? The main thing here that you seem to not understand as a through line is when it's done well, is when it's done in a way that preserves what's liked about the thing and doesn't replace or hide or edit out stuff that people enjoyed. It's not the concept itself that's the problem, it's the execution of it, but you seem to think that everything is the same and it's the idea of the remake that's the problem, when it's clearly not.
So I'd also like to go on to say that the term remake is actually a little bit of a problem here. So when the special edition of Star Wars came out, which is a worse cut of the original Star Wars.
Yeah, CG right? Replacing the special effects, weird things like Han stepping on the tail, all that fucked up.
It's still Star Wars, right? It's just edit here, edit there, cut effect, redone effect here. It's still 95% of the same movie. It's the same actors, it's the same scenes, right? Resident Evil 4 remake is completely new built engine, completely new. Like, it's the distinctions are different. You want to think about a remaster as if we were talking about video game remasters going, oh my God, look, Okami in HD came out. It's the best thing ever because it's Okami in HD. And the thing that I can think of that actually fits this description the best is DMC Devil May Cry got re-released on the consoles with a bunch of changes. And that's the game going forward. Virgil doesn't have his fedora anymore, right? They changed a couple of the gameplay things with hitting red and blue enemies, and that's the version of the game that people are going to remember. And the reason why people look on that fondly is because that version of the game is better than the original released version. Every version that Lucas ever put out afterwards was always an inferior version to the original cut.
It's kind of wild to take up an argument in a straw man fashion that nobody's having. Like, I've never said that about I've never said that about Modern Warfare 2 or whatever, but regardless if the words are being shoved in my mouth, to just take up the argument and zoom out in such a way where the quality of what we're discussing is no longer the factor that is deciding how we feel about it. It's just the mere concept of revisiting the thing. Like, it's such a weird, like, in a world where I've spent the last, decade, like, talking about how awesome Bionic Commando Rearmed is and shit like that, and we go on and on about like, it's so wild to not understand that it's about the quality of the execution, you know? Anyways, so...
Yeah, the reason why people shit on George Lucas is he made a shit ton of bad movies in a row and then made the movie that you liked actively worse.
Yeah,
hey, Hollywood remakes films. The Departed is a remake of Infernal Affairs. Guess what? It rules. It's a fucking great movie.
They're both great. I still recommend you watch Infernal Affairs 1, 2, and 3, and The Departed.
Scarface and The Thing are remakes of earlier movies.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know. Like, this is not a case of like goalpost moving. Like, Mitch like changed fields and went to
he lives in a different reality.
He grabbed the basketball court and he took the rim with him, and we're over here on the soccer field. Like, I
would like to recontextualize the question. Why is it when George Lucas makes something worse, people like that less than when Capcom makes something better?
Yeah.
Because it's better instead of being worse.
You said DMC Devil May Cry, but you could have said DMC 4. You could have said DMC 3. You could have said
you know what's funny?
5.
You know what game I'm not going to talk about? Resident Evil 3 Remake. You know why? Because Resident Evil 3 Remake is worse than Resident Evil 3. So people don't hold it up like they do 2 and 4.
Really? Interesting.
Despite the fact that it's a new game.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that you guys felt so badly about it. I remember you guys said it was rushed, and I remember you
They
thought
cut so much, dude.
I thought that it kind of landed in a place where it's still better than the original, but it's just nowhere near what 2 was. Lovingly.
Well, I mean, for a human being that doesn't mind the old controls, yeah, the old one's much better. But if you're a human that does mind the old controls, because, well, let's be honest, you would prefer the new one just because of the way it controls.
Anyway, so there you go, Mitch. All right, hope that helps.
Wow, we got a lot of wrong in the emails today.
Yeah, but in one case it was the debater throwing his friend under the bus, and in this case we just get some dude coming in.
I gotta say, I love this like fucking
combative,
genuine, your heart, terrible take, like shit coming in the email.
Yeah. Well, the problem is now that's being encouraged, right? Now we get terrible takes incoming, hot.
Yeah, but they have to be genuine. It's really easy to tell, like, oh, I'm going to say something because it's stupid. But this person believed the stupid thing.
Fantastic, though. Good stuff. All right, everybody. I'm going to call it there. Thank you so much. Take care. See you next time.
Have a good week. Bye-bye.